Hello on, hello all, and welcome back to the Late Night Reviews, which are a bit more regular because we're in lockdown. For those who don't know me, I'm Tom, aka the T-Dog, and this is my partner, in a friendship sense, before the rumours get out there, William, otherwise known as Willie Gandalf to his fans. And tonight we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to do a bit of a walkthrough of a system known as the PC Engine, or Turbografx over in America. Now, Will has never ever experienced this system before, so before we kind of fire on, I'm going to do a quick overview. But yeah, as we go through, I'm aware that most of you will be brand new to this, never having experienced it before, and Will almost be your voice at points. So in the comments, throw out questions, game requests, whatever it may be. And Will kind of be almost your mouthpiece to kind of feed things back to me as I give an overview of the system. So before we go any further, I'm going to give an overview of just what on earth this system is. So first off, this is what it looks like. You see how tiny it is even compared to my microphone. It's a tiny little system. That thing at the back is my flash cart that's got all the games, and that is the controller. It looks a bit like an NES one. And that's the interface that I'll be loading my games from. So that is the system, and in terms of what this thing can do, don't worry, I'm not going to go through this word for word verbatim, but this is an overview of just what this computer system consists of. It's got a processor that's around the same speed as the Mega Drive, so that's nearly twice as fast as the SNES processor, but the CPU is only 8-bit rather than 16, which makes it that little bit slower. It can do 512 different colours, same amount as the Mega Drive, but simultaneously it can have 482 different colours on screen, whereas the SNES can only have 256 and the Mega Drive 64. The weak point is probably the RAM. It's only got 8KB of memory, whereas Mega Drive has 64 kilobyte, the same amount of video RAM and 64 sprites on screen. And perhaps most surprising out of all of this is that this system managed to outsell the Mega Drive, that's the Genesis for those of you in the States, in Japan. So just think about that. The Mega Drive or the Genesis was beaten by this thing, and for a little while it even outsold the Famicom. So it's a weird little system. I'm going to show you one more time just what it looks like. So this I recorded a little bit earlier on, and yeah, like you can see how tiny the thing is. I mean, it's basically the size of my hand, but this was released way back in the late 80s. So we're not here to sort of wax lyrical about how small it is or how powerful or anything like that. What everyone's interested in is what are the games like. And as I said, I'm taking game requests, but I'm going to venture a guess that nobody will have any game requests tonight. So without further ado, we're going to jump into the first game. And I think a good place to start is with a little game called Bonk. Now, Bonk was effectively the mascot of the PC Engine. Now, has anyone here in the chat heard of Bonk? And in fact, Will, have you even heard of Bonk?
I've heard of Bonk, depends on what kind of context. But no, I remember it. I remember it. He's got a fight a Tyrannosaurus at one point, but it's kind of, I think they play it on Games Master at one point, but
that's right.
I've got a very vague memory of Bonk. But I kind of remember it. It's quite a cool character though.
Yeah, we had that intro there. Me Bonk, you player. Me game, or whatever it was.
And the graphics are kind of in between Super Nintendo and NES, maybe Mega Drive graphics. You know.
I've always thought that too. It almost looks like a kind of souped-up Sega Master System to me.
Really?
So yeah, that's what I compare it to. But then some of the other games look absolutely incredible. So we'll see a bit of that as we go through.
I like that logo there. That's a cool logo with the stone and all that. How do we sound in the chat, by the way? Is the sound okay? Do I sound a little? Because in the last stream I sounded a little bit muffled, and we want to try and correct that. I am getting some audio improvements in the post, but it didn't come today, so we got to make do with the audio as it is. So let me know how it is, and I'll have a little tweak around. We can see how that goes. So are you just jump straight into it? As
yeah, so let's straight into the game. And if you haven't already, do hit that like button, or even, if you're so inclined, smash the like button if you want to see more content like this. But this is, Bonk, the first Bonk, Bonk's Adventure. And
well, it's very generic, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a generic
is fairly
platform.
generic. I mean, I got the feeling with this that the people that developed it were just making kind of a run-of-the-mill game, and that at some point NEC, the company behind the console, decided, oh, let's make this into a mascot platformer, because at least to me, I enjoy this. I think it's good fun, and I like it because it's different. It's got some really weird stuff in it, but yeah, I don't think it's a mascot platformer myself. There's no way that this is going to take on Sonic, Mario, anything like that. But it's cool. I mean, one of the things I love with the PC Engine, I think the reason I've kind of developed this passion for it over the years is it's so quirky and weird. It's not really like anything else you would play. I mean, like it's almost the epitome of Japanese weirdness in system form, and I quite like that. I mean, I can see why this did really well in the Japanese market. It got released, whilst the Famicom was still a main system, and in some ways their vision was, let's see if we can replace the Famicom. And you can really see that actually in the way, like particularly a game like this one is made. It feels like a late Famicom game to me, just with better graphics.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I've got a request to make Sonic Mania out of cardboard. I'll try that. I think I'll try Sonic 2 will be the next Sonic game I make out of cardboard. If I do it, I'm really not too sure. It all depends if I have the drive to do it. But at the moment, I'm going to take it, maybe after Doom 2, I'll take a little break. But we'll see how it goes. But I think from my first impression of seeing this, I think you're right, late Famicom game or something. I kind of feel like it's not quite Mega Drive, but it's definitely not Master System. Do you know what I mean? Or NES. It's kind of like a little step up for an NES. Not Master System, but not as graphically as technical as Mega Drive or Super Nintendo. It's kind of like it's like his 10-bit or something, not 16, not 8.
It totally is. It's like 10 to 12-bit, I would say. So what I'll do is I think I'll play through one more level of this, and then what I'll do is show you Street Fighter 2 on the PC Engine, because I think that will give an idea of the power, because we could compare
okay.
To although it's a bit generic for us, I think it's good just to see.
I'll be interested to see, because if I think this is kind of like I said, 10 to 12-bit, I know that's a silly way of putting it.
That's a good way, actually. I think that's a really accurate way of putting it, because one of the
it's sort of like in between SNES and Mega Drive. I'll be interested to see how it handles, a game that we all know as being a 16-bit game. But I mean, visually, it's really, really quite nice. It is quite nice.
Yeah, I think one of the deciding things for it is that it actually has more colours on the screen than the other.
Yeah, I think that's it. The colour, it's got more colours, hasn't it? That's the thing. More colours and a bit more going on the screen and no slowdown, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely powerful. I don't know, it's a really weird one. Like in that generation, every single system was so different. Like the SNES and Mega Drive had completely different spec. I know we talked about this before on the channel, but the Mega Drive having twice as quick a processor as the SNES, that's like unheard of. Can you imagine if with the PS5 and the Series X, if one of them had twice as quick a processor, it'd just be like unimaginable, wouldn't it? But that's what was going on in these days. Like there were just such differences, and then the SNES could do 4,000 odd colours, and the Mega Drive only had 564 on screen. Yeah, there were really big differences back in the day between games. But I feel like this is kind of given a good representation of what the game is. It's a little generic, but I think it's fun because it's so quirky, and things like where you eat the meat and your character's so expressive with his giant head and all the faces that he pulls and things. So that's Bonk's Adventure. Like I said, I don't think that the developer ever intended him to be a mascot. I think that was kind of thrust upon the game a bit, because you can tell like it's not bad. In fact, I just realised the boss is coming up, so I'll fight the boss and then that's a natural breaking point. It's not bad, but it's definitely not what you would pull out to represent your system, is it? Or at least I wouldn't.
I mean, I remember it, so obviously it did work.
Yeah.
definitely remember that. Actually, no, I think the Tyrannosaurus you fight is actually Joe and Mac.
Oh yeah,
that as I remember.
That's a good game.
Tyrannosaurus on this.
Although I definitely remember seeing this game on Games Master and thinking, I like that, I want to buy that, and then realising, oh wait, it's not on Mega Drive and it's not on SNES.
Yeah.
How do I buy that? And because Turbografx wasn't in the store over here, they didn't stock it in the UK. You right, Button Masher?
The Button Bashers can't hear. You can't hear me. You can't hear me. How about if I fiddle around with the audio? I think I turned down my audio slightly. How about now? Can you hear me now? Do I sound a bit better?
I can definitely hear you now.
Yeah. I turned it up. Let me.
They're a bit like booming in my ears, but that's fine. Can everybody hear me? Fine. Game audio is really high. Okay, so that's something on my.
Yeah, you can hear me now.
Yeah, I'm going to turn down the game audio.
Game audio is too high. Let's turn down the game audio a bit, Tom.
Yeah, so I put that down to 50%. So,
yeah.
Yeah, let
oh,
me know
bad.
how
Sorry.
That works. Cool. Cheers, Button Basher.
We're still trying to get better at streaming. We're still in the early days. We're noobs, aren't we? We're trying to get better at it, but
that's it.
They can hear us. They can hear us. That's the main thing. So how is everyone? Feel free to plug your channel if you want to plug your channel on here. I think we're all out to help each other. You know, YouTube is a platform that is very hard to get noticed on these days. So if you feel the need to plug your stuff, feel free. Button Bashers, I recommend checking out their channel. Fantastic guys. Booming voice of Bill.
It is,
Tom,
isn't it?
You're okay.
I was thinking that too. I think it's because you've put it up to that level where the range is just a bit too high. But you should be alright now to go back to where you were, Will, in terms of your volume.
Sorry, I'm turning it down.
Yeah, just so people, like Button Bashers kind of triggered a thought in my mind, which is something weird about this particular system. See this on the controller? I don't know if you can see that, but it's got auto fire built in to the first party controller. So this had like the equivalent of the rapid fire unit you could get for the Master System, or you used to get those slightly weird third-party controllers that had rapid fire built in. Well, that's like there on by default on this system, which I think is pretty weird. But anyway, just a random aside. So we'll go back into the game menu here. So that was Bonk for those that might have missed what that was all about. And I was just doing a quick overview. So I'm going to show you now a little bit of Street Fighter 2, just because I know it's a game that just about everybody knows what this game is meant to look like, and it will give us an idea how powerful the system actually is. So here we are. Will, by the way, I can't hear you now.
You can't hear me?
Oh, I can now.
I was just wondering, can you hear? You can't hear me at all?
Oh no, I can hear you. You're fine.
Oh, you can hear me. Okay.
I had like a split second where I couldn't hear you, but I think that you might have not even been saying anything. You might be going.
Can you hear me? You can hear me now then? Okay.
Yeah, I can, yeah.
I was just going to say, if anyone's joining us from Retro Rail, sorry about plugging this. I know it's a little bit sleazy to plug this stuff on a YouTube, Facebook group, but I just wanted to get some chat. Because we're in lockdown and there's hardly anybody around, like I miss my mates, can't see anybody, so that ideally, the more the merrier, Because it's just so crap at the moment. I've got lots of friends that are stuck indoors, they're just going crazy, so it's nice, and I'm obeying all the sort of lockdown business, so I just, the more people I can talk to on a daily basis, the more sane I feel. So. Yeah, a bit of a study thing, posting and flagging but yeah, this is good. Sorry, this is really good for
It's a good version, isn't it?
Than the Super Nintendo version.
I think it's almost on par, actually, with the SNES one. I can't see a big difference between this and Super Nintendo.
Slow down, but still really good.
Yeah. You did quite well, but you need more training to... Oh, sorry, I skipped it out of instinct. When you're like so used to bashing the buttons, like the button bashers, you're just like, I need to get back into game. Oh, Zangief. I only do like a couple of rounds of this because it's very much... Yeah, everyone knows what Street Fighter 2 is, but it's just interesting to see, I think, like how good a version they managed to make on here. So it shows, that actually, when programmed correctly, PC Engine could be right up there with SNES and Mega Drive, I'd say. And now I'm getting beaten by Zangief. Oh, something weird on here. You've only got 2 buttons on the controller. So of course you've either got punches or kicks. You have to press the select button to swap between punches or kicks. You can't have both, which is so difficult. It is, but like on the Mega Drive at least you had 3 buttons. Here you've only got 2, which just makes it so much more difficult. Yeah, it's really, really tough with 2 buttons. Yeah, I know. They did release a 6-button controller, but of course, you know, I haven't got that because it's weird enough that I've even got a PC Engine, let alone getting the 6-button controller. Ooh, look, spinning pile driver.
I don't even know how you do that.
Oh, it's a 360-degree rotation. It's really, really tough. I've only pulled it off a couple of times myself.
Because I think and there's yoga teleport, which is the hard one too.
That's right, yeah.
I don't know how you... Can you yoga teleport?
Well, you've got to do all of the punches at the same time, or all of the kicks. And that's really tough on a SNES controller. It's marginally easier on Mega Drive, but I'm trying to like swap buttons mid-fight there.
Well, you can press all the kick buttons. And the yoga teleport's a crap move as well.
Yeah, I know. It's not like it even damages your opponents at all.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, it gives them loads of time to see where you're going. Because the yoga teleport's Street Fighter 2 move, the Street Fighter 2 Turbo move, they didn't have that.
That's right.
Street Fighter 2.
Oh look, he's owning me. Oh, there we go. Just punched him in the knee, and then he was knocked out.
I'm really knocked out by a punch in the shin.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Street Fighter 2. Like it's cool, but it's like it's just the same game, isn't it? Really. But I thought it was cool just to give people a bit of a demo, see what it's all about.
What was the best port of Street Fighter 2 for a console, a cartridge console?
I would say, for a cartridge one, I was about to say the
not
3DO, but that doesn't count, and neither does Sega Saturn.
Yeah, the best version was 3DO.
Yeah.
What next then, Tom?
So I think we should go for something that I think is absolutely outstanding, and that is Castlevania Rondo of Blood.
Yes, oh yes, that's meant to be really good, isn't it?
Yeah, this is actually my favourite Castlevania game, and it's a PC Engine exclusive. I mean, there've been a couple of like emulated ports, but
I need to up my mic. I was just testing my mic then. So what I need to do is up my mic and keep it.
Vor langer Zeit lebten die Menschen glücklich und
I'm going to put
zufrieden.
it to 70. Let me know how that is. I've upped it to 70. I'm still on it now. So let me know how that is. 10%. Increase it by 5 or whatever. Just let us know how my audio sounds now. So this is it.
Die Dunkelheit trübte ihre Sinne.
so this is the intro. Now normally I skip intros, but this one's cool enough that I think we should play it out.
Wahnsinn getrieben schmiedeten sie einen Pakt mit den
Will, what you're missing here is they're talking in German. Great. Oh, das ist the soul, ja, and stuff
Are they
like
actually
that.
doing that? Are they actually talking German?
Yeah, genuinely.
Gemeinsam die Mächte der Finsternis mit
So they can actually talk in these Turbografx?
They can, yeah, because it's a CD. So
Oh, it's CD?
yeah, it had that I didn't even cover. I can't believe I didn't cover that. So the Turbografx had the first ever CD-ROM add-on. So get that, you had essentially a kind of, as you put it, Will, like a 10-bit system, but with CD-ROM on there. So this is almost like seeing a souped-up Master System with a CD-ROM playback. But yeah, you really start to see it in this game. I think this comes out so well.
Dwarf Chucker. Lovely name, by the way.
Yeah, every time I read it though, I misread it in my head. I'm glad I don't say out loud what I misread it as.
No, that's a good intro. That's a good intro. It's very good.
It's so cool, isn't it? Like really
Yeah,
sets the scene for the game well.
You can definitely see there's a bit of a step up from Bolts Invention.
Yeah, big time.
But it's CD based, so whatever.
And it was 1993 as well.
Mhm.
So I could play as T-Dog or Willie Gandalf.
Oh my god, you've got my name on there already.
Yeah, I just did that to troll you.
I think we go with you. Let's go with you.
Okay, we'll go with the T-Dog. Yeah, this is definitely, for me, the best game on the system, I would say.
That from Castlevania 1.
This was actually the first ever Castlevania game I played. Like, I started with a really good one because I'd read, right, what's the best one to begin with? And a lot of people were saying this, and I was like, yeah, go on then. And you can see you get these bits that tell the story in between levels, but they don't go on for too long, which is good.
They can definitely pull these graphics off on the Mega Drive, I think. Maybe not as many colours though.
Yeah, I think it'd be more about the fitting it all onto cartridge. That'd be the issue on the Mega Drive, I reckon.
Yeah, really, really good cutscenes though. They're kind of like Ninja Gaiden. It's really cool, really good.
Yeah, and it definitely, like I said, like although you have to wait. I mean, I can skip it, but although you have to wait a bit, it isn't too long that it ruins the game. Like, I always hate it when you're stuck with like a really boring long cutscene, but this one's okay, I would say.
Good, really good.
And now we're into the game.
I can't hear the music, and sometimes the music in a Castlevania game is the best part.
Yeah, I'd say in this one, the soundtrack is right up there, Will. Like, well worth you checking out, definitely, yeah.
Hey, what up? The loser corner, what's going on? We're playing Castlevania tonight. We got 6 people watching. If you want to give us a like, that will help with the stream, I think. Oh, you're going to fight death already?
Yeah.
Jeez. That is a cool rendition of the Grim Reaper. The Castlevania always nails it with Grim Reaper. Even the NES version of Grim Reaper's cool.
It's more like a opening cutscene of sorts that just kind of tells the story. So he's coming after you, right from the beginning of the game, and that sets the tone for what's to come, really.
That's sort of Mega Man X where you can't kill it. You know,
that's right.
Mega Man X where you fight that. What's the guy's name? That robot.
Oh, it wasn't Sigma, was it? It was Sigma's the end boss. I know the one you mean.
Yeah.
He looks a bit generic, but. That's right, yeah. So you can see it starts out quite, just walking down the street, but very quickly starts to vary itself, and there's quite a bit of variety in the game as well.
Yeah.
Which you're probably starting to see already just by how things look. Like, we've already moved between quite a few scenes, which you never really got on the NES one. The NES one was a bit more, I don't know, like it did change, but not as rapidly as this one does.
No.
You still, much like all the other Castlevania games, you've got like the axe, for example, that I'm throwing there, and it all works just like on, this guy always hits me. But yeah, this one almost feels a bit above 16-bit in my opinion. This feels like it's 24-bit or something.
I still to this day do not even know what bit is. I still live in the 90s where I think a bit is just all, the more the bits, the better the game.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, the Xbox, the original one, had a 32-bit CPU, and the Dreamcast had a 128-bit CPU. Like, bitness doesn't really... I don't even fully understand bitness myself, if I'm honest, but effectively it has to do with processing certain things into memory, but it doesn't, in the real world, make much of a difference, really. Like, computers tend to be 64-bit now. That doesn't mean they're as powerful as the N64.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of lost... I suppose you could say lost count of the whole bit until after N64.
Yeah.
They stopped calling stuff, after their bits, didn't they? After 64.
That's right.
But I always assumed the Dreamcast was 128, which I was right.
That's
and
right.
Then, Xbox came out and PlayStation 2 came out, and I was like, well, I don't know what they are now. PlayStation 1 was 32, right?
That's right. Yeah.
PlayStation 2 was 32, and then PlayStation 1 was 32.
Oh, we got me.
And then PlayStation 2 was what, 64?
No, that'd be 128 as well.
128. And then
but then
360.
It kind of all became a bit meaningless. Like it kind of made sense in the 8-bit to 16-bit days, because at that point it generally was like a change in the technology and how quickly things worked. But once you got to 32 or 64 or 128, it all ultimately came down to how much memory you could address at the same time. And I think 32-bit, sorry, well, it's like real geek speak here, can address up to around 8 gig or thereabouts of RAM, and 64 can do up to 64 gig of RAM, or yeah, anyway, like it's basically back in the 90s that would have been unheard of to even have a gig, let alone anything else. Anyway, there's a bit of a random computer talk, which I seem to do a lot of. So what do you reckon so far to the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Really good. Really good. I mean, it's Castlevania.
Ooh, missed him. Those birds are really tough to get. Much like all the Castlevania games, it gets really difficult the further you go into it. Like it starts off fairly easy, and then yeah, before you know it, it becomes a real challenge. But I did manage to beat this once a few years ago. Yeah, it took quite a while. Like I was playing it for a few weeks, but I must admit I'm totally out of practice now. I don't really know how to do a lot of the stuff, but I've still got enough to like pick it up and play it and get fairly far. At least I hope. Anyway, we'll find out, won't we? But yeah, just a brilliant game all round.
It is a level for the first game, is it?
That's right. Yeah, they sort of pay tribute a little bit to the first one.
Oh, that's... I wonder, what was the time difference between this and the first game? Probably not very long, right? They did that on Castlevania. They did that in Castlevania 4 as well, didn't they?
That's right.
With the music and stuff.
Well, this was a 93 game.
So Castlevania came out, what, 87?
Yeah, so this would have come out after Castlevania 4, which probably gives us a little bit of an insight into the longevity of this platform in Japan as well. Because when you think, we've never heard of it, like 93, that was like the Mega CD was like well into its lifespan at that point. And SNES was hitting its stride, and yet there was still a market for PC Engine stuff in Japan. Which is quite crazy to think that like we didn't even have this, and yet over in Japan this was outselling the Mega Drive. I think this is the game where it kind of starts to make sense to me that this would have been serious competition for both the SNES and the Mega Drive. Oh, so if you fall down that hole, you don't die. You go down and do a different section, which is cool.
Yeah, that's quite good. But it's like a harder area. You don't want to be down here, basically.
It certainly feels that way right now. Yeah, it's definitely. You can see already it's starting to get tough as a game.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's a good thing.
I think that there's definitely a penalty of falling down that hole.
That's right.
It's a lot harder than what it was up there.
And in some cases, you can. There's even different exits to levels and different paths and things like that. So there's like I don't. Oh man, I died. I don't think there's multiple endings, but there's definitely like various bosses and things you can see. So yeah, it's quite a varied game. I think it's definitely one of the best of the generation, like in terms of platformers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely didn't get the audience it deserved either because it was on Turbografx, and obviously nobody had Turbografx, so
yeah. I want to see what that thing looks like. The thing from Ghostbusters, you know, the pterodogs from Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, are they? Yeah.
Yeah. I recognise that eyeball as well. Is that from from New Generation, or is it? I think it is from New Generation, isn't it? I don't know. I recognise it though.
It's definitely tough down here. Although I kind of like the challenge. I think it's the kind of game, in order to stream it, you either have to learn it really well or just stream in silence, which I'm definitely not going to do.
This is tough.
Yeah.
These Castlevania games are always tough though, man. They're always tough, these games.
But yeah, definitely a good one. So yeah, so that's Castlevania. Which might well be one that we end up doing on a stream sometime. I think it's good enough that we could do that.
Totally.
So I'll switch into the next game, and I think for the next one, we'll have a look at the first Splatterhouse. So Will, you were big into Splatterhouse 2, weren't you, back in the day?
Yeah, really good. Splatterhouse 2 was my favourite. I never played Splatterhouse 1. I played a bit of Splatterhouse 3, but I just didn't like Splatterhouse 3 for some reason. It felt didn't feel like as good. But I think I've played this before. But I think from what I remember, this is actually really good.
Right. Where would you have played this one then? Was this on a emulation
I
site?
saw it. I think I had an emulator of all the different consoles and something, and I did get around to playing this, but it was pretty good. It doesn't look as good.
No.
It doesn't look as good as the Mega Drive one. No, this doesn't.
This is where you start to see, maybe some of the limitations of the hardware, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you see a little bit of sprite flickering and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
Not loads, but you kind of see every so often a little bit going. But yeah, quite interesting.
Maybe it was Splatterhouse 3 that was the good one, and this was the bad one that I played. I don't know.
I feel like the third one was definitely the bad one. They kind of made it a bit like Streets of Rage.
They did, didn't they?
And it just
But
wasn't good.
That's a good thing, right?
Well, it would be if it was like a good Streets of Rage, but it was just... it kind of came... The thing is, anything that came after Streets of Rage 2, sort of, in order to be a good example of that genre, it had to live up to Streets of Rage 2, and just very little could, really. Like, any time I played a beat 'em up, it was always, well, I could play this, or I could play Streets of Rage 2.
Or was this the babies? Oh no, The Deadly Spawn. Have you seen that film? You probably haven't seen that film because it's really obscure. And you're going ape shit and your fists set off. But no, there's a film called The Deadly Spawn. This is definitely inspired. If you haven't seen a film called, I've said it a million times, but The Deadly Spawn, check it out and you'll have the real. This is definitely fun. It's flipping mental. I think it's French. It's really quite clever.
I'm definitely abusing the rapid fire there.
Oh, what, using the rapid fire?
Yeah.
I thought you were literally button hammering.
Yeah, it'd have to be like machine gun arms. I'd have to be like E Honda with the 100-hand slap to be able to do it that quickly. Especially that consistently as well, without missing a single hit. Yeah, so it's pretty similar to the second one, I'd say, but
yeah, similar. But it's like when you had a Sonic 2 and Sonic 2 on the Master System. It's definitely downscaled, you know.
Yeah.
But still, you know, it's still very much the same thing.
I'd say the gameplay is very good. Like, I feel like the graphics are scaled back, but the gameplay isn't. The gameplay is actually really... It's tough. I mean, it's probably tougher than Castlevania was, to be fair.
Yeah. But I remember when I had Splatterhouse 2 on the Mega Drive, I really felt like I was playing a game that my parents found out I'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
Now, games are so unbelievably violent. But do you know Splatterhouse 2, I think, from what Games Master told, was banned in Germany.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Well, I told you that fact, so I believe it's true. But I need to look into it. Like, it's just something I said kind of in passing.
A lot of stuff.
Read it somewhere.
Where's the Australia? Is the other place a lot of stuff gets banned. Grand Theft Auto 5 is banned in Australia.
No way.
Manhunt and Manhunt 2 is banned in Australia. Like Left 4
There
Dead.
you go, I'm dead.
I think you got to hit those things, surely.
I think I'll try it again. I feel like you have to jump them, and I'm just timing it very badly. But we'll find out in a sec.
You hit every single one of them. Maybe like a review to hit them, maybe. But yeah, Australia is killer for video games.
No, you can't hit them, so it's going to have to be a case of jump them.
Really high.
That's really tough, actually.
What? Yeah, what is that?
I'm not
about?
jumping a single one.
No.
And yet I'm sure I've done this before. I managed to... That can't be right. Maybe I can duck them.
Duck over?
Yeah, I'll try and duck underneath them.
What that is about.
Because that's just too difficult, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got a very small watch count today of people watching. And it seems to me that no one still cares for the either it's us, no one cares for us, or no one cares for Turbografx or PC Engine.
Probably no one cares for Turbografx, but I think that's because they haven't seen it or experienced it. It's clearly worth it once you start to get into the games. But right, well, I'm gonna work out how to do that another time, I think, because that's definitely I'll just keep dying. Yeah.
Is there any way we can go back to that?
Yep.
Can we hold up and press jump?
Oh, it just starts weeing on the wall if you do that.
I swear you can jump higher.
Okay, I'll try one more time. I'll just see if I can... Oh, there we go, game over.
You can't.
Thing is, I've definitely played past that bit, so I must have worked it out last time.
I swear there's a way you could jump high in in this game. I swear it is. It might be a different game though. I can't remember. But yeah, it's Splatterhouse. I would have been pleased with this back in the game. I would have felt like I was playing an absolutely X-rated adult game of some sort. You know,
Yeah.
parents would freak out if they saw me playing it.
That's it.
But, now it's kind of like, you know, it's a big to do.
It just
So
kind
what's
of
next
feels a
then?
little
What
bit.
you show me?
Yeah. You know, there is actually, weirdly, there's a Shinobi game on the PC Engine, which is
Really?
weird. Yeah, Sega actually made games for PC Engine. Some of them were good, some of them were just absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, speaking of terrible, just so you can see what it is, I might show you Street Fighter 1, which came out on PC Engine, which is just so bad.
I'm politely watching you guys while I playing old Pokemon games.
Oh,
Nice one.
Pokemon
Ooh,
games.
Playing fighting suit. It looks like a potential lawsuit here. What Pokemon game are you playing? Oh my god, it's the original Street Fighter.
It's so rubbish. Have you ever
It's
seen
the
it, Will?
original I remember someone told me at school they played the original Street Fighter 1.
Yeah.
And God, it's really unfair because Guile has a gun. Does that happen in this, or was it lied
No,
to?
definitely not. God,
I was
what a
lied
guy.
to for 20, maybe 30 years. So I was told when I was about 7 years old. So yeah, he said it's really unfair. Guile's got a gun.
That's ridiculous.
Okay,
It's such
so
a funny
he
thing to
was
make
lying
up.
to me.
You need
He
to
was
track
lying
that guy down.
I'll track that guy down. Do you know you're a liar? You're lying to me for 30 years. Yeah,
It's
this is
such a bad game, this one. Can you see how bad it is?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh, I pulled off a
What
dragon
was this?
punch.
You do a dragon punch. Wow.
Oh man, it's so
Well,
funny.
how did you do dragon punch? Is it the same combination?
To be honest, on this one it's meant to be, but I find I just have to spam the controller and hope for the best, and then eventually, if I'm really lucky, something comes out.
Can we be quiet for the speech at the end? Because I know the speech when they beat you or you beat them. Is that right? Is it,
Yeah, try again.
Can we talk
I'll turn it up
please?
as well at the end. I'll put the sound up for the game, just so that then you can watch it back on stream. Ah, so difficult.
Here we go. Turn it up, Tom.
Yeah, it's there.
I'm not going to hear it, but I'll listen back. Right one. I can't hear it. It's got that old fighting game jank. This is definitely some old fighting game jank. This is Street Fighter 1. Have you even heard of Street Fighter 1? No, you haven't. And if you have, you know what we're on about, man. This is
I can't believe how much they managed to leap up when they did the sequel.
I know. How did they do it?
I've
I
gone from
suppose
like
getting
an absolutely
contact
awful
with
game
Capcom,
to
right?
like one of the defining games. Oh, man,
Well, like-
I feel like I don't really want to play it anymore, but I've kind of demonstrated it. Yeah, as much
So like
as I'm willing.
Capcom came along and were like, yeah, we'll take over from this. Or Capcom were even kind of like, yeah, let's do a sequel to this awesome game.
Yeah,
why did they
that's
even
it.
think this needs a sequel?
And maybe there was somebody in Capcom who just thought, "Oh yeah, we loved making that. We have to make a sequel." But why? Why would you want to?
So that wasn't Capcom that made that originally, was it?
That was, yeah, it was
Was
a
it?
Capcom game, which is
So
bizarre.
I actually just thought that wasn't Capcom that did that. Because
Yeah.
Capcom's good.
Well, it's like the quality is so much lower.
Yeah, definitely. That's
But yeah.
terrible. Maybe they thought, okay, guys, we got to step this up. Let's make a sequel. Oh, that was awful, that game. No, we're going to make this one good. How are we going to do that? We're going to spend a bit longer on it.
So I'm going to show you now R-Type, which is kind of was the killer app for the system in some ways.
Oh, Tom, can you tell me why it's called R-Type? Do you know?
No, I don't. I was trying to think of a reason it'd be called R-Type then. I've still got no idea.
No, there's some games out there that like why is Pop and Twinbee called Pop and Twinbee? I
Yeah,
suppose
that makes no
that's their
sense
names.
either.
Pop and Twinbee? Yeah, it must
Yeah.
be that.
Maybe.
There's other games out there. I've just no idea why they're called that.
Yeah.
Super Hydelide.
Ah, your favourite. Your favourite game of all time, Super Hydelide.
Yeah. Why is it? What is a Hydelide? Who is a
Yeah.
Hydelide?
I always think of like a fire hydrant, and I always think it's to do with putting out fires or something. It's like, yeah, really weird name.
I mean, that's more than I got.
Yeah.
Well, this looks great. Proper anime style graphics. And
Yeah, it's got like CD audio, which is really
Is it
cool
really?
on this kind of game.
Which I can't hear because I'm on Discord. Tom knows about the technical reason why I can't hear me. So, what are you gonna do? Shoot things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just move and
And I've
shoot.
got that rapid fire
Shoot.
built into the controller.
Oh yeah, that's a definite.
Oh, I died already.
Did it?
It's as tough as R-Type ever was.
To be fair, it's weird because I really like these games,
Yeah.
but I don't like them at the same time. It's really weird. I like the way they are, and I think what it is I'd like to see people play them, as long as it's not me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you love anyone but you playing them.
Oh, IREM always had those good pixel artists, lots of detail, and a bunch of them jumped ship and joined SNK and helped make Metal Slug.
That's right.
Oh, a bit of trivia. Thank you very much, Stormwave 342. I didn't know that. I did not know that, but it's always good to know new things.
Yeah, the weird thing in R-Type is you see that thing that's attached to the front of the ship.
Yeah.
You can kind of shoot it back and forth from your own ship to do different, sort of strategic things. But I don't. Oh man, I died! I can't believe it. Normally I can get fairly far in this, but not today.
I can't believe it either.
It's the pressure of being on stream.
Say he's a very good video game player. You should attempt to battle Dave Perry, the games animal. Standoff. Because I think you're probably the. I mean, I don't know many people that play games. I mean, well, I do know a lot of people that play games. I don't see a lot of people play games. You're one of the good players I know that can play games. Because I'm so bad at them. I keep on saying that I'm bad, and maybe I shouldn't be so hard on myself. I'm not the best video game player at all.
To be fair, like I do find a lot of my friends that really like video games will be the first to say they're not good at them, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who don't consider themselves good at games are people who are really passionate about them, which is quite surprising, really. Like one of my really good friends, he's always like the first to say, yeah, I'm rubbish at games, but he plays them anyway.
Is it me?
Yeah, that's you.
It's me. Yeah, I mean, some people really take it in their pride to sort of be the best at video games.
Yeah.
Like, with me, it's kind of like, I don't know, I can say I've never been competitive when it comes to games, ever. I've always just thought, well, you know, I've died. My brother used to get really angry at doing it. Oh my god, I remember seeing this as a screenshot in a magazine.
Really iconic, isn't it?
Yeah, is it really iconic? Because is that it? Oh,
Yeah, that was easy. It's only because I'm all powered up and stuff, though.
That's a big disappointment. That's how it takes. I saw that for 30 years. I've seen that screenshot, and it's just 2 hits and it's dead.
Yeah.
Well,
So yeah, it's a cool game. It's very tough. I think it's actually probably
Well,
one
you
where you
also-
have to memorise a little bit. Like you have to learn patterns for different bosses and all that kind of stuff.
I do always find with these games, it's kind of like I never usually make it to the end of the level.
Yeah.
I make it halfway, and that'd be kind of it. And it's always the case with these. And then you play the next level, and the next level. If I play one of these games, the next level looks quite similar to the first level. I'm kind of like, you know, it's done.
Yeah. God, this is getting quite frantic already.
Case. Black background, maybe different shaped enemies this time. But yeah, this is crazy, Tom.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I like these kind of hardcore shooters though. These kind of shmups
Yeah,
are my jam. But
Definitely.
I have to really
separates
practice
the
to get good
boys.
at them, but they are good fun.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good fun. It looks good fun if you know what you're doing.
I was going to say that's where you have to be like unprecious about whether you're good or not at games, because if you play this, it's going to kick your ass like this game. anyone that plays this would just be like completely destroyed.
God.
You can see a bit of flicker there going on, but it's not too bad.
Yeah,
It's still perfectly playable.
NES flicker. Oh, wow, blimey! What the heck?
But I didn't
You
die.
must have played this before, right?
I've played up to
You must have
here.
played
This is about as far as I get normally.
Okay, here we go. Let's try and do it. Let's try and do it. Come on, Tom. Let's try and complete the level. If you haven't got the-
Man, I wasn't sure where to go then.
Oh,
And now it
that's as
becomes
far as
impossible
get.
because you
Sorry.
lose all your power-ups. It's one of those...
And then you got to go back to it.
So
It's
then you're like
how
really
the hell?
slow, no power-ups, and you got to fight him with no advantages at
That's
all.
such an interesting thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I was...
Good evening, Danny
Radius
boy.
always did that too. Cheers,
Hope
Danny
you're
boy.
both well, we haven't got coronavirus, so I assume we are. I haven't been tested recently, but I assume I haven't got it. You haven't got it, have you, Tom?
Yeah, no, I don't. I was going to make a joke,
both
and I was
are.
like, one thing you can't really joke about at the moment is
You
coronavirus.
can't really joke about it.
No.
There's nothing funny about it. But no,
It's
we're both
one
well.
of the few
thank you very
times you
much.
can't really... There's really nothing to laugh about, is there, at the moment? When it comes
There's
to
nothing
COVID,
to
it's
laugh
just...
about. Everything is going wrong. It seems to be. Yeah, I don't want to dwell on it, but like you watch the. I refuse to see what's trending on Twitter or what's on the
Well,
news.
it's all Trump,
I just
isn't it, at
rather
the moment?
It's all Trump, and it's just going crazy. I'd just rather not just get into it. I just rather just play a bit of R-Type.
Yeah.
Just play a bit of R-Type. I mean, yeah, it's all a bit bonkers. Just trying to get involved too
What,
much.
the game or the world or both? Because I feel like
Oh,
both.
both.
I have no
I
idea
did
how to
R-Type
fight
is
this boss.
About as hard as the world is right now. Oh my god, maybe not.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I can't believe I didn't die there, to be fair.
I can't believe. What is that thing? Is this the boss? This has got to be the boss.
I'm assuming so, but I think I have to hit... Maybe I have to shoot there or something.
I do not know. I think I personally, from what I would shoot, is those red bits.
I
See
want to
those
get that
red
blue
bits on
thing
it?
that's
And then
pulsing a bit, but
I don't
obviously
know.
my bullets
You
can't
guys
hit
get-
that.
You do. You got better experience with games than me, Tom.
Maybe if I go
I
back.
think just keep on shooting and see what happens. You're doing well so far, man. Alright, mate, you're doing well.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I feel like I'm not even hitting it. Because I feel like it would flash if I was hitting it.
Do a barrel roll? Of some
Yeah,
sort?
that's a good idea. If I do a barrel roll, that might do it.
Do a barrel roll and everything will be alright.
Oh man, look at that.
I just crazy. I think it's those red things you have to shoot. Maybe keep on shooting.
Oh.
Thing.
Oh, did I beat it?
Well done.
No way. I actually
what?
beat it.
What, the boss just gave up.
Yeah.
Maybe the blue jewel bosses always have shiny weak spots in these games. I think that's what we did. And we won. These cutscenes are brilliant. I always used to love it in video games when they had like manga, anime style cutscenes. I used to love it. And I never knew R-Type.
No, that's exclusive to this version. Because
Yeah,
you wouldn't have had that on a cartridge, but you get it on CD and it's got audio as well. But of course, it's all in Japanese, so one of them is Konnichiwa, konbanwa, itegisne, and that's, yeah, don't really understand any of it.
What does that mean?
I kind of know what I was saying then. I was saying good afternoon, konnichiwa, that's good
Thank you, good
afternoon
afternoon.
as well. Good evening. E is
Good
good.
evening, thank you, good
Tenki's
afternoon.
weather. That's about all I know. Do you know any Japanese, Will? Because you went to Japan.
Hey. I went to Japan. I didn't. In the 2 weeks I was there, I learnt domo arigato gozaimashita, which is thank you very much.
Okay.
It's a long way of saying it. What else was there that I learned in Japanese? Not a great deal, really. Most of the time, it was just being a typical rude Brit, like pointing to things.
Oh.
Because the Japanese language is
Look
very,
at that
very
flicker
difficult.
on the
was
game
very
over
nice.
screen.
You know,
So much
but
flicker there.
the Japanese are super nice people. It was one of the best countries I've ever. I've been to a lot of countries, and it was one of the best countries I've ever been to. They're so lovely out there. They're so nice, and like they go out of their way to help you. And I think they're great. They're great people. And you know, all my favourite stuff comes from Japan. So yeah, gotta be thankful. But their language is ridiculously hard. So I point Okay, I want that one. And I went for breakfast in Japan, and for breakfast I got some celery and a boiled egg and a slice of ham. I was like, that is the weirdest breakfast I've ever had. The egg was in the shell, and I was like, this is just so weird. And I had octopus ink pasta. Bizarre as well. Lots of strange food in Japan, but great place. Lovely people, lovely food, weird food. Bomberman. Have I lost the sound, or have you gone quiet, Tom?
I've just gone quiet. I'm concentrating on highly elaborate bomb patterns and stuff like that. No, I was interested hearing what you're saying about Japan. That's why I went a bit quieter. To give an overview of what this is, if you've ever played Bomberman on the Mega Drive, that game was actually a port of this version, but the original is definitely better. Like, you can see the colours and even the sound and everything feel a bit better too.
I kind of prefer it on the Super Nintendo products. This is kind of a bit smaller. Audio, you're importing a van from Japan.
No way.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
That's mad.
Is there no vans in England you like? That's crazy. Must be a nice van. Must be quite expensive. Oh, we got 8 people watching. If you wouldn't mind liking this stream, it means YouTube might take notice of me finally. Until then, just another.
We'll need some friends. Like his stream and be
I'm
his
stuck
friend.
in lockdown. I need some friends. Stuck in lockdown, just me and Tom, all our lonesome, no friends.
Yeah. And we can't even hang out in person, even though we're only about 10 minutes walk from each other.
Stuck indoors. Having to use Discord to communicate with each other.
Yeah. I don't even know if that is Will anymore. Like, it might be some kind of 3D model he's rigged up to do everything Will would do. Like, that's how our kind of grasp of reality is going.
Cutout.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm moving 1 frame at a second because my webcam's so bad. Or is it, Tom? Am I made out of cardboard? You never know.
It's more believable that you're made out of cardboard at this point.
My personality and my videos are made out of cardboard. Cargo Cruise 12K, brand new for baseball. Well, if that's what makes you happy, dude, if you want to get a van from Japan for 12K, you go for it. Personally, me, I'll get it from the old dodgy dealer down Peckham somewhere and probably get it blow up on me on the way home.
No offence to the people of Peckham, by the way.
No offence to the people of Peckham, but the old dodgy dealer, what's it, Del Boy down Peckham, sell you a car that would blow up on the M25, leave you stranded at 4 AM. It can happen.
I've got to say, Bomberman is definitely one of those games. Once you start playing it, you could just keep going for hours.
I've noticed, Tom.
Which I'm not going to do. I'll finish this stage and then we'll go on to the next game. But yeah, Bomberman was actually, for a little while, very associated with PC Engine. It wasn't until a bit later on that, they decided to, because Hudson Soft, who make Bomberman, they were very heavily associated with this particular system, and it wasn't until much later on that they went, we'll put them on Mega Drive as well. But in some ways Bomberman was actually more like the mascot of the system in some ways. But anyway, it's very much if you've seen one Bomberman game, you have seen them all. But it's cool to see. It's good to see the variety of just what's available, really.
Your last Japanese imported van has been rusting away. My God, why did you import another a van from Japan? Seriously, why is it you do it? Just out of interest. But why do you import a van from Japan when you can get them over here? Probably get you a bit of money off. Just interested. What next then, Tom? What you got in store?
Well, I think I've never tried this. I've heard it's awful. We're going to try out a little game called Golden Axe.
Oh,
this is cool.
This is good. What are you talking about, Tom?
Well,
surely it must be good.
Mega Drive Golden Axe is good, but is this version good? We're going to find out, aren't we?
We're going to find out, won't we? Only time will tell.
So far, it's got a cool cutscene at the beginning, so that's something.
Cool. It's kind of similar to the other cutscenes we've been seeing on the Turbografx. They're all kind of letterbox, postage stamp cutscenes.
Yeah, I mean they look very cool. I'd say.
Hey, how you doing?
Oak City Gamers have arrived.
It's Tom. It's Bill and Tom.
Bill and Tom's Excellent Adventure. What's more?
Tom's Excellent Adventure with Bill as well. They are well suited to the island. They're very small, but the engine got space. Oh, okay, cool. Tom is playing Golden Axe because he's been watching our show, maybe. Probably not, Bill. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Why? Because basically, I'm the guy who just sits here. Tom does all the hard work and plays all the games and stuff, while I just sit here and watch and just take notes on all the amazing stuff that I'm seeing from Turbografx 16, which I never played as a kid because it was in Japan and I never knew about it. But tonight, I'm being educated by Tom. Seeing some. So this is Golden Axe, but not as good as the Mega Drive version you were saying. Yeah?
Well, that's the talk, but I've never played it, and this is where like playing on this platform is so cool because I've never played a lot of this stuff either. I've maybe read about things, and it's good to actually see. So, what do you reckon, Will? Who shall I go for? Any preferences?
Well, I was always good at Thunderhead.
He was the man, wasn't he?
No, that was his name. I think the dwarf is always the best man, to be fair. Golden Axe is the game.
More cutscenes.
Golden Axe is the game Chad has been questing for.
He's looking for it.
By that? Oh, okay. All right, now I see if it holds up. Mega Drive or arcade.
Well, that's definitely an improvement. That shot right there, that's definitely improved the game for me.
Oh god!
But then she kind of looks like a man there. Well, so far, a lot of presentation. Well, the cutscenes are pretty cool, to be fair. But
they're good with their cutscenes. Was this a?
I feel like I'd
CD
skip
game?
this normally though. I'm only really playing it through because I think it'd be good to see what happens. Yeah, it's another CD game. Like most of the good games for the Turbografx tended to be on CD. It was very different to the Mega Drive and the Mega CD in that respect. Like once the CD came out, everything just moved to CD for the Turbografx, whereas for the Mega CD, nearly everyone just stuck with Mega Drive. But yeah, it's a very different approach. Well, this is all, very nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I must admit though, it's a fighting game. I would skip all of this. I would just be going, no, straight in the game, no, straight in the game.
The Japanese version has a bunch of stuff. TG6 Turbografx. Yeah, Turbografx 16. Yeah, PC Engine. The cutscenes are interesting, but they're clearly keeping you from the gameplay. Yeah, they are.
That's right. Yeah, and I just want to hit the start button and get past it, but I feel like we'll see how long this goes on for.
I don't really find cutscenes very graphically interesting though, because all it is basically a picture which they can transition from one picture to another to make the eyes blink or the lips move. There's not really anything technical about it like that.
I kind of appreciated the Castlevania ones a bit more because that was like quick and to the point.
The Castlevania one was a lot better. This one is kind of like, drop downloads. You could definitely do this on the Mega Drive or even the NES, to be fair.
Yeah.
Was it Ninja Gaiden?
That's right.
Scenes on that were really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really add anything.
You can't skip this. You can't skip this.
I probably can, but I sort of want to see how long it plays out for. It's become a challenge now, like an endurance test. The funny thing is, I've heard the actual game isn't very good, so I feel like we're going to watch through this whole cutscene and then be really disappointed by the gameplay. Yeah. Well, that was like very pointless. I mean, it looked cool, but oh man, it's still going. I can't believe it's still going. That is unreal.
There seems to be a cutscene that you get rewarded for by beating the first boss. That works better from the intermissions. I got some shaved beef so I can make it sub sandwiches. I did some kebabs last night. Very nice.
Oh,
That's
something's
cool.
happening.
That's always a sort of a. They use that in Kill Bill. You're in Kill Bill.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that bit of Kill Bill.
Oh man, that's like the longest intro I can remember to a game. I think.
Yeah,
and it's to Golden
you can
Axe.
skip through it. It's cool. But the thing is, though, back then.
Oh man, look at it. Now we're in game.
Oh no! See, what the hell is that?
Yeah. How did they make it so bad? The music's good. Not that you can hear it, Will, but the music is the best bit.
I can't hear the music. No.
Oh, can you run?
No.
Oh, you can run.
The thing is, though, it plays probably very similar to the Mega Drive one. It's just
I wouldn't go that far.
So, no, oh, really?
Well, no, it's not. To be fair, it's not completely broken.
No. Oh
But
my
it's definitely
God.
nowhere near as
That-
good.
that-
I mean, you can tell just looking at it, can't you, really, that it's not as good. It isn't just graphics, it's like the collision as well is... Oh man, it's pretty bad. I couldn't get on that dinosaur because it was too far off screen.
What is the name of that thing called?
Oh, you know, I've never known.
Tail or something?
I'm trying to play it like it's the Mega Drive version. I need to let go of that and start to think, right, you're not playing on Mega Drive. Look at that running.
Day, boy.
Look at that. That's so funny.
Should we again?
Yeah, watch this. That's running.
That's it. Those things are called chicken leg or something. They're called something really weird. They're like chicken leg. Something like that.
I like it. I think
the
Stormwave thinks
compression.
it's the video compression, but it's not. It actually looks like this in game. Like what you're seeing in the
is it really?
ABS window is what it looks like in game. You
I'm
wouldn't
quite
believe it, but it is.
surprised that when I saw the cutscene, I was kind of like, well, you know, that's quite nicely drawn, you know.
Yeah.
And then when he gets to the game, it's kind of like
Oh, it's painful.
he just hands you
Agony to play.
Yeah, it's just,
Oh no, I died. What a shame. I might have to stop playing it
that
sooner.
intense cutscene. You know, that intense cutscene, and then you just given the. Yeah, that's strange.
I think
It's
the
kind of
Sega
like they've
Master
used all
System
their-
had a better version of Golden Axe. Let's try the magic. What?
Oh,
It goes to a purple. Oh my goodness, that was like 7 magics, and that's all it did. I feel like we've seen enough of the game.
Yeah, this isn't great. It's interesting to see though, like
Yeah.
Golden Axe not as good.
Yeah, I
I remember
know.
playing Golden Axe on the PC back in the day. When I was in my old school, Pewdie Down School in Guildford, we played Golden Axe on the PC, and it had like your built-in sound. There's like
That's right. Yeah, I remember those
Golden
days.
Axe. Yeah, like that, and I'd be like, and then I heard Golden Axe music on the Mega Drive. I was like, wow, the music's so good compared to what I played it on before. And yeah, we were playing on keyboard, and I remember that. That was good fun. Golden Axe back in what were we playing? Holy Trinity School in Guildford. We were playing that. Oh, missing some of the chat. Sorry, lads. The game does not look very nice. The sound chip in the Turbografx 16 is not good. Well, not top notch. It was good. Oh man, the noise channel. Ouch. An attempt was made. Yeah, indeed. Oh wow, what's this thing?
This is
cool.
Outrun,
This game.
which is like a big Sega
Outrun, yeah.
franchise. And I was quite intrigued to see. We've seen Golden Axe, and that was awful.
See, this is so much better than Golden Axe. Like the
But
graphics.
this looks like it's
The Mega
done
Drive
properly.
version was a lot closer to the original arcade version. I remember seeing Golden Axe 3 in an arcade because I was always used to Golden Axe 1. Never played Golden Axe 2 at the time, but like I remember seeing Golden Axe 3 in an arcade, and like you do the magic, you see the face go from a face to like a burnt face.
Ah,
You know
I think
that
you're
one?
talking about Golden Axe 2 Revenge of Death Adder. Because there wasn't a
Oh,
Golden
okay,
Axe
okay,
3.
sorry.
Yeah, no, that's alright.
Yeah, you see the face.
Otherwise,
go
you'll
from,
get
like,
people in your
normal face
comments
to,
going, I think you were playing Revenge of Death Adder.
I think you'll find that
Instant
actually
dislike.
Golden Axe 3 is that better. Now go and kill yourself.
Yeah, that's it.
Say on YouTube.
And I just don't want your blood on my hands, Will. So if I hadn't told you that, it would have been the end of your life, and I couldn't have lived with myself.
Outrun, not looking so bad though. No, I thought that too.
Yeah, it looks
The
alright,
arcade
doesn't it?
versions are always the best. Yeah.
It plays okay
Sadly,
too.
they're designed to be unbeatable in some cases. Yeah, that's the thing. They're like a quarter. What do you call it? Quarter crunchers or whatever they call it. The steel wheel quarter steers.
Oh, what's the?
But,
yeah, I know what do you mean. I can't think of the expression now. Quarter munchers, you sometimes get them called.
Quarter munchers or something like that. But like, they are designed to sort of like steal your money. Remember that? You put in like 10 quid, you have like 10 credits or something. Arcades were quite expensive back in the day, weren't they?
They were.
Although some games like.
Having said that, it could work out cheaper than actually buying the game in some cases. Like if it's a game you're not going to play for long.
Surely not.
Like certain games, if you think about it, like something like Outrun, this game. Say if you spent 30 quid in an arcade and it was 50p a go, that would get you like quite a lot of game time when you think about it.
Thing is though, if you wanted to come back to it and come back to it and come back to it, you know, you always get that desire to play a game no matter how old it is. I mean, look what we're doing now.
Yeah, true.
Outrun is 37 years later. How many 50p's would that be?
Yeah, true.
37 years worth of 50p's.
I've got to say, this one's good. I think this is a good version.
This one's not too bad, is it?
Yeah. I'm going to try, because I just remembered they've got a Space Harrier version on here as well. That'd be interesting to try
indeed.
out.
No, I think you're playing Blackadder Text Adventure on the ZX Spectrum. Said
Brilliant.
Sweetie British accent Tom used.
Excuse me.
It's the ZX Spectrum. Fucking go and kill yourself.
Oh, Shinobi. I forgot there's Shinobi on here. I don't think it's a great version. Yes. Yeah, I think when I'm doing that accent, I'm trying to do. If you've ever seen on Netflix, IT Crowd, or you might think of it as It Crowd. There's a character on there that goes, yes, well, actually, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do when I do that voice.
I like that guy.
He's hilarious. Isn't he?
I've got more things to say. Come here. Are you playing Golden Axe, Revenge of Blackadder, Death Adder? No, it's, yeah, the Turbografx is good. It's just sort of very much in between two battling consoles, which were the NES and the Mega Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's weird to think this beat the Mega Drive in Japan, isn't it? That's a weird thought. Imagine if we'd grown up with this rather than. I do find it strange. Did this really beat the Mega Drive? In Japan, yeah. Yeah, Moss, that's right.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Weird thought. Like, the Mega Drive didn't do that well in Japan. This isn't a bad version.
No, it didn't. No.
It plays a lot like the arcade version.
Everybody had a Mega Drive in England. Moss, I love Roy, the Irish accent. We've got an Irish guy here with us. Well, he's not essentially Irish, but you live potentially, don't you?
It's grand, so it is. Yeah, no, I've lived in Ireland for about 2 years, but I haven't really picked up the accent at all. Sometimes I've got the slang will come out of nowhere, and Will laugh at me. Oh, I just died. Anyway, that's Shinobi.
That's deadly. That's deadly.
Deadly is savage. Savage, so it is.
Hey, Petri, how you doing? So yeah.
So that is the Turbografx so far. I might put on some slightly weirder games. This one's really weird. It's called Photography Boy. Although I feel like it's not meant to be in quite this style. I feel like this is glitching somehow.
Well, see, oh my god, that's very glitchy. Am I seeing that right?
I feel like that might be a bad version, possibly.
Yeah, that does look it.
Yeah. It's alright, it's not a great game, it's just a weird one. But sometimes with things that are fan translated, they're a little bit.
Yeah.
You sort of just have to hope for the best. Sometimes they work fine, sometimes they don't. This one was an interesting game. It was kind of like Zelda mixed with a shoot 'em up. It's called something Valkyrie. It's by Namco. But I tried it out earlier and thought it was pretty cool. It's got quite
it's quintessentially Irish.
But yeah, this one was good.
Well,
it kind of reminds me of Zelda mixed with a shoot 'em up, which is a really weird thing to combine.
I just wouldn't really play it though, dude. It's just very, yeah. Well, you know, it's all right, but I'll just be very happy sticking with my my NES, to be fair.
I guess in some ways that's a bit like some of the early Mega Drive games were a bit like that compared to NES. You'd sort of play them and be like, yeah, this is good, but I don't need it. I don't think I wouldn't say Turbografx is one that people need.
Yeah.
But then in the same way, back in the day, you wouldn't really need both Mega Drive and SNES. It's just different, isn't it? It's not better, it's not worse, it's just very different. But I definitely feel that kind of it's halfway between generations. It feels like pretty much the best 8-bit console going in some ways. Like spec-wise, I mean, imagine having an NES with a CD drive. It's a weird thought, really.
Yeah. Oh, I've been meaning to watch this video by a Nostalgia Nerd. Haven't got around to watching it yet. But do you know Nostalgia Nerd?
Yeah.
He's got like an NES. It's got the little bit you can take off the bottom, and there's a little thing. And he's like, "What was this for?" Under the NES. Under NES. I've been meaning to watch the video, but I haven't got around to watching it yet.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that.
To find out what that is.
It was a expansion port, but they never actually marketed anything that used it. But there was a fan out there who created a mod that went on the bottom of it and allowed you to have what's called Famicom expansion audio. So the Famicom actually had more audio channels than the NES. And they created something that fit on there.
See. That was chestnut.
Yeah. What's that? I want to get this one Japanese game. It's called Densha D Go. I wonder what that is. Which platform's that on? Oak City. I'm gonna go this one.
Go. Densha is train, D is by, and go is English. Train by English? Very strange. Well, this is a bit of an odd one. This is a very strange game.
It is, yeah.
In fact,
it's very Japanese, isn't it?
To be fair, like this is basically Zelda. It's not Zelda. It's a shoot 'em up, isn't it? It's like course between R-Type and Zelda.
That's right. But I like Zelda, although I've never really got as into it as I'd like, and I like R-Type, so for me it works quite well. The one bit I don't like though is these bits. I just don't feel like platforming works well from this perspective. I don't know what you think, but I just find it so easy to drop off.
Yeah.
It's very hard to judge the depth of everything. But yeah, it's a cool little game. It's very quirky. I'd actually say...
I can't hear the music. I mean, music definitely vamps up a game a little bit. I can't hear the music or anything, so like that definitely takes
yeah, it takes a lot of the appeal off, doesn't it?
They just put out a plug and play model. Yeah, it's not bad actually. Not bad. Not too bad. I was going to say, Tom, like Zelda Link to the Past playthrough, please. Oh my god. I'm not
that
good
takes
at
some
Zelda.
time.
I've never completed it, but I would love it, Tom. I would love it if you would do a Zelda Link to the Past playthrough. Would you ever do that?
I can consider it, but I'd have to get good enough at the game to be able to do it in a stream. Otherwise, we'd have to do it for about 12 hours.
Do you know what would be really, really cool? If like you played the game and I had a strategy guide for where you were stuck.
Oh, that would work.
Because I'm just sitting here watching you play it. If you ever got stuck, go right, Tom. Okay, by the looks of things, like I could buy a strategy guide for eBay. And sort of go through.
That worked fine. Or even like just use GameFAQs or something.
Yeah, it'd be like a joint effort type thing. I could get an old school strategy guide, or Earthbound would be a good one, maybe.
Yeah.
Look at that in the future.
But I feel like
but then again,
I feel like straight up RPGs would be a bit more difficult because whatever happens, you can't skip the talking, can you? Really, that's always the issue with RPGs. I mean, I love RPGs, but I feel like they're not really very streamable. Would be my instinct.
There's that problem as well. I've played RPGs in the stream before, and the problem is you can play them for like 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes, and then you kind of like you've always got a thing. If I get bored of this,
yeah,
then that's it. That's the whole thing. So like, or if I get the urge to play something else and not an RPG, then that's that gone. You know, that playthrough's gone. And some people may have liked it. So
That's it.
Yeah, Pratnev, yeah. Not Satnav, Pratnev. Prat in English is basically idiot. Hey, I'm just glad you didn't make this co-host out of cardboard. I have a personality out of cardboard, and I make things out of cardboard. Who's that play Spider-Man on NES? We're only playing PC Engine tonight. PC Engine is kind of like what we're playing. But we'll play Spider-Man on NES. Do we know tonight? Samantha, how you doing? Do you guys like Adventure of Link Zelda 2? I love it, man. I flippin' love it. It was one of my favourites, but I learned most people didn't like it. The music was so good. I really loved that game, man. It was gold in the UK. The cartridge was gold. I'm pretty sure it was gold in the US as well. But I really liked it. I didn't get very far. I just liked it. And I got to a part where we got to fight at night. This is pretty much right at the beginning. And at night it's just so hard to fight. It's like it stabs underneath, it stabs on top. It's got a shield as well. And that's about as far as I got. But I love the game. So what are you playing now, Tom?
Now this one's a bit of a strange choice because this game came out in 2018. It's a new game made by an indie developer, and it's called FX Unit Yuki. And the basic story is you are a girl that gets sucked into PC Engine development, like console, and you start playing through PC Engine games, which is quite cool. But as this character,
Crazy.
And then your rival is somebody that works for Sega and is dressed like a Mega Drive. So if you look at the character, it looks a bit like a PC Engine, and then like your rival looks like a Mega CD. So it's quite a cool concept, really. But yeah, one of the great things about this, which unfortunately you can't hear, Will, is the music. Really, really well put together. Like, it's a really good indie game, this one. Well worth playing. They've actually got a version for the Mega Drive and for the Dreamcast as well. So if anyone wants to track it down, it's FX Unit Yuki. But yeah, I think this is a really good effort, this one. I mean, you can tell it's a fan game at certain points, but I think it's amazing that they managed to get this up and running on a PC Engine. You know, this is like, we're talking 80s hardware here, and somebody making a game in their basement, well, not literally in their basement, but like making the game again in the 2010s. I don't know, I just find that quite inspiring, really, when people love a platform or a system enough to do that. But yeah, it's cool. I think, like I said, the highlight is probably the soundtrack. Hey girl, you still alive? Only Master N can see you. Yeah, it's got all this kind of get in the world, honey.
Zelda 2, Gold Card in Canada 2. So Tom, my cousin's wife, is from Ireland. Yes. The Knights is very hard. Jump, stab. Yeah, I know. I could never do it back as a kid. The Knights are tough.
I never really got into that one, Zelda 2. I think because I was a Sega kid back in the day. I was a bit late to the party.
I loved it.
I'll tell you what I did get into though, Will, which you might like, is the Wonder Boy games. Did you ever play any of the Wonder Boy games?
No, I didn't, but I've heard so many good things. Wonder Boy 3, I think was it Wonder Boy 2? I used to work at HV, and this guy told me that Wonder Boy was amazing. But which is the best Wonder Boy?
I would say the third one, Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap.
I think he's in the third one. I was kind of like, alright, is it going to be better? Because I was a Nintendo guy, and I was like, is Wonder Boy 3 going to be better than Mario 3? But I'll never know, because I think it determines the fact that kind of like, if you grew up with Wonder Boy 3, it's going to be better than Mario 3. But if you grew up with Mario 3, Mario 3 is going to be better than Wonder Boy 3. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the good thing
that
is,
sort of, like, that attachment, that childhood attachment you've got, you know?
there's actually a port of Wonder Boy 3 on the PC Engine. So we might give that a go in a bit, just to give you a feel for it. But I was staying on this screen. I just thought this was quite funny. Man, the graphics in this game suck. Is this really a 16-bit game? It's like self-aware.
Focus.
Oh,
that's quite cool.
Yeah, and this level's based on Wonder Boy, which is funny.
Her accent isn't thick anymore. her accent isn't big anymore. She's very American sounding, but her parents visit, and she's like thick with her accent. I'm not sure where.
Yeah, if you find out where, Ireland's quite a small place. It'll probably be one of those where I would have travelled there at some point, or I've probably got a friend who lives in that area. It's it's a weird place to live in some ways, Ireland. I mean that in a very good way, because the population of the country is only around 5 million, so that's about half the size of London. And so just about everybody has a connection to everybody at some level.
Is that right?
Yeah, I know.
It must be like 5 million Irish living in the UK.
Yeah, it's not far. Well, it's not 5 million, but there are a huge amount living in the UK. But also, we're all in the UK. We're all kind of connected to Ireland in so many ways. Like my great grandfather was Irish, for example. So I'm actually Irish genetically. We're also kind of interlocked. I mean, the other thing people don't realise is that Ireland, as in a republic, has only been independent for just over 100 years. So before that, effectively, and I have to be very careful how I word this, but it was one country. Whether you saw Ireland as being oppressed or just another part of the UK, a bit like Wales or Scotland, that was reality. So it's not that long ago that Ireland was sort of in full union with the rest of the UK. So yes, really interesting experience living out there.
Oh, Tom, to you honest from Monaghan?
Oh, Monaghan. I know a few people from there. I don't know somebody called Honest, but I have been there.
My granddad was from Roll. They sure do get around. Roll? Is that Roll in Northern Ireland or Southern Ireland?
I don't actually know Roll. Roll's a bit I don't know. So I'm going to swap into showing you a bit of Dragon's Trap, I think.
Back in 2 seconds, over a week.
Cool.
Surprise me the next game, Tom. Maybe Wonder Boy 3.
Might well be. I'm going to mute Will away whilst he's having his wee. I don't think anyone wants to see him go for a pee, do they? Well, maybe you do. And if you do, subscribe to Will's OnlyFans page. Okay, so this one is going to be Dragon's Curse, which is the version of Wonder Boy 3 that came out on Turbografx. Very similar to the Sega Master System incarnation, but ever so slightly different, and you'll begin to pick up a few of the differences as we play. Ghastly goons. You can tell it's a different translation because it mentions ghastly goons. That's right, Republic of Ireland, ROI. Wexford, yeah, I'm not far from Wexford, ironically. A lot of my friends are from there. Go down to Wexford quite a lot. So yeah, this is Dragon's Curse. It came out slightly after the version on Sega Master System, but it's a very similar game. For those who haven't played it, it's got a kind of Zelda 2 Adventure of Link feel to it, but I think a lot of people would say it's a bit more polished maybe as a game. Although it's probably, to be fair, that might be a Sega fanboy comment possibly. But I think it's a really cool game. Really good franchise actually, and in recent years it's kind of got a bit of a revival. There's a new Wonder Boy game that's come out recently that's called Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, and they've got a new one coming out in the next year or so. This, just so you know, this is more like a cutscene, the first boss. You can see how many hearts I've got in the top left. It's basically, very, very difficult to die there. This is all setting the scene for what the game will be. Normally I'd sort of loiter there and try and get a few more coins, but I kind of thought, you know what, I won't loiter for too long because it'll get a bit boring for everyone. So yeah, the one downside to the game for me, whenever I play this, is having to play through this kind of mini tutorial level. It just isn't the most fun thing in the world, but once you get past it, it becomes well worth it, because it's almost one of the first real Metroidvanias that had a high level of quality, would be one way to put it. Because when this came out, I think Metroid had already been out, but this kind of took it, in a whole different direction with the fantasy setting. And one of the cool things is you can turn into different creatures throughout the game. So at the moment I'm playing as the dragon, because that's what got morphed into. But later on you become like a mouse and stuff like that. So yes, it's pretty cool. Got a couple of I saw that. I was like deliberately trying to because I always pronounce it. Oh, so at the end you got
Ballyvagan.
I was going to say Portlaoise, but it's not Portlaoise because Portlaoise is not far from me and it's got a different spelling to it. The second one would be probably pronounced like leash, but it wouldn't be spelt quite like that. The H normally isn't in there in a lot of Irish names, so there's a place not far from me called Laois, and it's Laoise. And then there's Portlaoise as well, which is like a little town. I'm sort of trying to multitask, play and read the comments. Ballyvagan, I'm not quite sure on that one.
Do you want to read them out to you?
Loughra. Oh no, it's okay. I can sort of. I'm reading them like as I go, but sometimes it's like even after living there for a bit, some of the place names do throw you off. In fact, some of my Irish friends would say that they're surprised consistently how certain things are pronounced. What are you eating, Will? And where's mine? I only live 10 minutes away from you. You've got to run it down to me. You get food and I don't. I see what this game is.
At the moment, and we're on this ketogenic diet, which means you can't have any carbohydrate. And my wife has very kindly made me these cakes without any carbohydrate in them, and they taste great. They taste like they should have carbohydrate in them. But I've got to lose weight because Christmas was unkind to me.
Will, you missed an iconic line there where it said you are a dashing desperado, desperate to get back to your good looks. And I feel like that's a line for you personally, entering into this new year with your crazy diet and stuff. Be a dashing desperado in a rush to get back to your good looks. That's what the game said.
I hope so, man.
I think that's prophetic for you.
I lost 2 stone, and then I put on half a stone over Christmas, and I'm slowly losing it. And hopefully, I need to lose another 2 stone after that to get down to apparently the healthy weight. It's mental, man. But the thing is, though, like a lot of my friends say that never trust NHS guide in the UK with the NHS guide to losing weight because it's unhealthy. Like they do say that like losing weight on the NHS guide isn't good. Lash like Portlaoise.
Yeah, it's more like leash, which is weird. Like a leash you'd have for a dog. Portlaoise.
Why was that comment held for review? I can't stand it when YouTube is the most sensitive platform in the world. It's such a weak platform.
What's it holding?
Do anything on it, they even censor you or whatever. It's just crap. They need to bring it on a different platform, which is better. Hopefully one day.
And one thing we could try and do.
What game is this, Tom?
This is Dragon's Curse for the Turbografx 16. On the Sega Master System, this is known as Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap. It's more or less the same game, but the frame rate is a bit quicker if you look at it.
Quicker on this, yeah.
Ever so
So
slightly
I'm
different.
seeing like kind of. So I'm seeing the definitive version by seeing it on the Turbografx.
Well, you would have been, apart from... Oh dear, watch that up. They actually brought out a HD version not that long ago.
This is brilliant, really, really good, but I still would probably say Mario 3 is better. You know, even if I played this back in the day, I'd probably still say Mario 3 is better.
I think it's a weird comparison to make. I feel like I would compare this to... Although it's a very different style of game, I would hold this up as maybe better than Zelda. I know that's a controversial thing to say because they're very different gameplay styles, but it's clearly an adventure style game. So you might say, oh, when it comes to adventure games, I prefer side-scrollers. And you might hold it up as better than Zelda 2. But yeah, to hold it up against Mario 3, I think is a bit of a strange thing to compare it to. Yeah. They're just such different games.
I don't think there's... Do you reckon Mario 3 is better than any Master System game, any NES game as well? The best on the NES, but better than any Master System.
I'm just trying to think through.
Master System game.
Yeah, I don't really think there's anything, as far as platformers go, that could be compared to. I'd say the best platformer on the Master System is probably Castle of Illusion with Mickey Mouse. I know that's a weird one to choose, but I feel like that's a game that's definitely underrated.
Yeah, okay. I prefer DuckTales to that, but then again I did play it back in the day. To be honest, the graphics are kind of cheap, or maybe too simple. The NES can do it better. There you go.
I don't reckon NES could do this.
You don't reckon NES could? I reckon NES
Not
could do
this. No way it could do this.
No,
Colours or the
not
graphics.
colours.
Yeah, there's no way NES could do this game.
Are you sure?
Got myself killed.
Mario 3, I don't know. I think the colours, it couldn't do the colours, but I definitely reckon it could do the graphics 100%, man. Surely.
Possibly.
Look at Little Samson, for example. Little
No,
Samson's graphics
maybe it could. I'm just trying to think do I think it could do it? Yeah, it might be able to, but minus the colours. So it looked pretty bland as a game, but yeah, it probably could. Come to think of it.
I think it could. What do you think, chat? Do you think it could do this? This could run on the NES? I think it could. I mean, like, I'm watching it on a tiny little screen with a very, very, very low frame rate on Discord, and now that I'm looking at it on stream, the frame rate is super high. Now I've seen it on stream. I don't think it's kind of like in between SNES and NES. I think it's more closer. It's like it's weird. I keep on saying it, but it's like in between SNES and NES, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like this one is probably only slightly better than the one on the Master System. I can't see a big difference between the two of them. I think they're pretty similar, really. I mean, this one, the frame rate's a bit better on Master System, but yeah, I still place it really as a Master System game when it comes down to it. I think that's really the best comparison. So yeah, that's Dragon's Curse. But one thing I might fire up is a game called The Dynastic Hero. Now what that is a port of Monster World, I think it's like 4, which is another classic Wonder Boy game. Just to give a bit of comparison, it'd be interesting to see how well that one runs on here. If I can even find it. Oh, Godzilla. Should we give Godzilla a go?
Godzilla, nice.
I've never played this, but I was quite intrigued by it when I heard about it. Load error. Of all the games not to work, Godzilla is the one.
Oh, that's a shame.
One time you want to play a game, that's the one that doesn't work. But hey, that's how it goes.
For shame.
For shame. And so far, what's the game that leaps out to you? What's the one that you think, yeah, that one was cool, and I'd like to play it a bit more?
Look, what have you got there? I've heard of none of these. You know, I've heard of none of these. So like, apart from a few of them. You see, with me, I'm not much of a big game player. Excuse me. I'm not much of a big game player, to be fair. Like, I grew up with a very limited amount of games because at the end of the day, like during the 80s, the whole country in the UK was broke.
Yeah.
Didn't have much money, and video games were expensive. I mean, they're kind of like Fantasy Zone, very good choice.
Always good.
Video games were expensive, like £50 for a NES game. My parents didn't have the money to spend on that, so we'd go to car boot sales to get our games, and I wouldn't have any magazines or anything to search through the reviews. I relied on a TV show in the UK called Games Master to get reviews. This is brilliant, really, really good. Much better than the Master System version.
It's very different type of game.
Well, very different. Not essentially better. Very different, but I like it like this. It's cool. A bit like game, you know the one I'm talking about.
Space Harrier?
Space Harrier. Very much like that, yeah. But I mean, like, it'd be quite cool if you could mix the two games together.
Well, that's kind of what this is, ironically.
Is it? Really?
Yeah, this is a crossover between Space Harrier and Fantasy Zone. And the weirdest thing about it is, it never got released. Which is really weird. So they basically made the game and then never released it. And there's lots of speculation about why that might be. Some people think it was due to quality concerns. Some people think it was trademarks. That Sega didn't want it coming out for some reason. But yeah, I think it's a real shame this didn't get released. It's quite a polarising one. Some people really don't like it. They think the scaling, where things come towards you, is done really badly. I think it looks fine myself. Like, it's a bit, obviously you won't see it fully, Will, but the frame rate's a little bit iffy at points. But you know what? I think it's a fun game, and for me the criteria for a game is, do I enjoy playing it? And in this case I definitely do, so yes, I think it's a good one. It's another one that comes on CD as well, so it's got a good CD soundtrack, which is cool.
Yeah. There's one thing I wanted to sort of talk about, like maybe see it for like a podcast or something, but it was kind of like everyone looks back now as the 80s being kind of like the pinnacle time, the best time, 80s and 90s being the best time ever. But when I think back to the 80s and 90s, they really weren't.
Yeah.
Like they really weren't the best time. I think, to be honest, the age we're living in now, for communication and friendships and all this sort of thing, and gaming as well, is the best time, personally. The 90s was a hard time to be obsessed with video games and creativity, because people were kind of afraid to express the fact that they were interested in games. Did you ever find that?
Yeah, big time. You'd actually get bullied for being into games, wouldn't you, back in the day?
You would. Like, if you like games or even films, like I liked like all the horror movies, like Night of the Dead and Evil Dead and various video games. And if you like that sort of stuff, you kind of segregate it. You need to either like football, clothes, or like trance music. And that was like how it was, at least for me.
I'd agree with that. That's my experience too. And it was like, actually the way to be cool was to not like anything and be completely apathetical. There's no way you'd be able to get away with what young people do now, where they could like Marvel, for example. Like, that just wouldn't be allowed back in the day.
When the Marvel films all came out, I was like, where are all these people back when I was growing up that now love these films?
Yeah.
Like, I don't watch these films, and it seems that everyone else watches them but me. But I was one of these people that would like that sort of stuff back in the day. But now everyone knows more about it than I do. And now some of the top films to watch are these films that I would consider being a bit ridiculed for liking back in the day. So it just seems to me that with the growth of the internet from back in the 90s to now the internet is today, people can really express themselves for who they are. Whereas back in the day, they couldn't. And I just felt like the 90s and the 80s, more than 90s, because I was getting older in the 90s. My personality flourished in the 90s. I was more of a teenager in the 90s. But I realised that like it was a very cagey time, but a good time for games. But yeah, not the best of time for expressing the person who you were. You know what I mean?
I think you see that a bit
It's a strange one.
in the kind of 90s games from the West as well. Like, any Western games were all about being cool, if you notice. Like,
Sonic the Hedgehog, and like being this cool streetwise guy.
yeah, I guess
Do you
I'm
know what I
thinking
mean?
more about actual Western release games. They kind of had this tendency to, like, the way they were marketed and everything was very, very much like it was trying to be cool. It was always trying to imply you're into sports and into fighting or fashion or whatever it was. I don't know, I can't think of a good example on top of my head, but it's just sort of captured the whole...
Look at the UK Sega marketing.
Yeah,
There's Nintendo, but if you're a Sega guy, it was like shades and a leather jacket.
that's right.
And it's, you know what I mean? It was kind of like, if you want to be the cool kid, don't muck around with the kids' toys. Put on a leather jacket and shades, be a cool kid in the playground. Don't be the douchebag with the Nintendo.
Yeah, it's all for kids. Don't be a child kind of attitude, wasn't it?
I just felt like we love the 90s. I love to look back upon the 90s, but would I like to go back there and live it again? I wouldn't, because it was just it was a bit tougher. Because it was very hard to express who you were, and I felt like you were like not ridiculed or bullied for like what you like to do. Whereas now it's like you have the internet, and you have thousands upon thousands of people who all have the same interests as you do. If you existed back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was just me who liked video games back in the day. I thought it was just me and my friend Ben, and I didn't even really know you too well. back in the day because there was no internet to be able to
right.
meet like-minded people. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was Space Fantasy Zone. It's quite an arcadey game.
Zone, by the way.
Yeah, I just realised I didn't even say what the game was, so I was like, yeah, better tell them at this point.
But no, that's really, really good. I think it'd be quite cool if they sort of integrated the Master System version in with the that as well.
As in, like, the side-scrolling, you mean? So you might side-scroll for a bit and then go...
Kind of like, do you know, like in Jurassic Park, where you're like walking around on the SNES, where you're walking around, and suddenly you go to that first-person area,
Yeah,
and then you walk back out again. Kind of like that. If they could do it like that, that'd be quite cool.
that would be cool, actually. Look at that. Button control with 2 L's.
Button control with 2 L's.
Do trip number 1.
So what's this one you play again?
This one's really weird. This is Pac-Land.
Oh
And
my god.
it's kind of a Pac-Man sequel of sorts. Very, very odd.
I don't know if I like this. I kind of like Pac-Man the way it was.
I know, Pac-Man was one of those games that didn't need to change, really. Having said
It
that,
didn't need to change, no. This is kind of
I
like...
did find giving this a go
Yeah.
and understanding it on its own merits. It's actually can be quite fun.
Okay.
But it's definitely a weird one.
It's kind of like the Baited Mario paint or something, man.
Yeah, it's got that look to it, doesn't it? So I think it's the very black edges to everything. Like it's really odd.
Some guy on his lunch break went, do you know what? On my lunch break in the last week I've made a game. Really? Why don't you release it? Alright.
I think the weirdest thing about this is how you control it. You don't use left and right to move back and forward. You use the buttons. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing the buttons left and right to move left and right, which is really weird, and up to jump.
What do you use the oh my god,
D-pad.
The D-pad. What do you use the D-pad for?
So the D-pad just jumps. Any direction I press on D-pad jumps. Everything else is the buttons, which is a really weird way to set up a game, but it was a very early arcade game, this one. I think in the arcade it was a direct sequel to Pac-Man, or one of the direct sequels. But yeah, I agree with Fluffy Puffy. It's really strange graphics, but weirdly
like
quite
MS
fun.
Paint. It's like someone's made the background of MS Paint.
Yeah, but it's like they've chosen to make it that style as well. Like, oh, I tried to duck then, but of course pressing down makes you jump.
Yeah, it's a bit of an eyesore. I mean, I'm not going to knock it. You know, it's iconic. It's a part of history.
Product of
But
its time.
looking at it today for the first. Oh, those looks look quite cool. Like a 3D effect.
It's weird how
But I
this
mean, like,
this platform can have Castlevania, and then it can have this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like Castlevania, that looks like absolutely beautiful. Looks like such a good game. Almost looks like a PlayStation game. And then this. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, is that an extra light?
It's very interesting to sort of like. I'm glad you did this though, Tom, because I'm glad to sort of see like how I've never seen this console in action before. I've only ever heard people talk about it. What's that really rare game for? There's a really rare game for it. Everyone talks about it.
There's a game called Magical Chase that goes for about
Yes, that's it.
£1,000 or thereabouts. Yeah, let's give that one a go. I actually like
Let's see if it's
Magical
worth
Chase. I
£1,000.
think it's a good game. Actually, I'll get the. I think it's the US one that's worth £1,000. So I'll find the US
Okay,
release.
is it,
There it
is
is,
it
Magical
worth
Chase.
£1,000?
No, but it is a good game to be fair. But worth paying 50 quid for, not worth paying £1,000 for. I would say. Crazy.
You got to think though, kind of like what it means to, because that's the thing I've never really understood about kind of like games that cost so much. I mean, it's rare, that's good, but it's nice to have something that because it means something to you. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's actually quite good.
Oh, it's a good game.
If it means,
I actually really like this game. It kind of reminds me a bit of Fantasy Zone mixed with a typical, like horizontal shooter. But yeah, it's a cool game. So you collect those gems and then money that you spend in the shop. You play as a witch, and those 2 stars that you've got either side of you, you can actually change which direction they fire in. So at the moment, I'm choosing to have them fire forward because that's where most of the enemies are.
yeah.
Yeah, game gets quite frantic, like these shmups often do. But yeah, I'm big into shoot 'em ups. I mean, I'd like to play them more, to be fair. Like, it's one genre that I want to play more of in the next year or so. But yeah, really think they're good games. It's a definite challenge, this type of game. You can't, sort of sit there complacent. You really have to concentrate at all times. Yeah, so you go to the shop, so I can get a speed up. So I'll go for feather. And I'll get the freeway shot, I think. Yeah, this one will do. Wide range. Actually, no, I don't think I will go for that. I'll go for this one.
Because neither one of us, Tom, are like collectors, are we? Really? Neither one of us are collectors. I
No.
mean, I used to have quite a large collection of things, but I got rid of it all because I just felt like I don't really need to have it. I can buy it back whenever I want. If I really feel like I made a mistake, I'll just bite the bullet and buy it all back because it's always really going to be there.
Yeah.
If you go on eBay. And I sold it all and then got a MacBook, and I thought, well, this MacBook's be a far better investment for games that I'm too afraid to take out of the box in case of damaging it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
These games can be in a much better place with someone who actually maybe played them, but I think they all went to people that don't already play them. But, you know, whatever. As long as, you know, I've made a bit of an investment. But, like, now I've just got a handful of stuff I probably don't play, but I really love because they mean something. Like the time I bought
That's good.
in Japan, or I bought like my original copy of Doom. I bought those discs of John Romero, that sort of thing. You know, stuff that means something to me. I won't necessarily play it, but it's like it means something. Rather than getting like when it comes to sort of collecting like this, which is like £1,000 game on a Turbografx 16, which is it's a good game. But what do you really need it for, other than it being a rare game?
Yeah.
Because it's not. But I can understand why people do it, but it's just not the way I do it. There's lots of different types of collecting.
Yeah.
And that being one of completionist collecting.
That's it. I think everybody has to make their own choice at the end of the day about what is collecting going to mean to them. So for me, like I don't really collect games in their original packaging and stuff like that, but I do like having the original system. So I love that I'm playing this on an actual PC Engine controller on a PC Engine. Like, to me, that is like the coolest thing going. But then I'm not bothered about, I want to get every single Mega Drive game ever in packaging in the box. But some people, that's what they're into. But yeah, you have to find your own meaning for it, really.
I know a lot of people that do that, and that's absolutely fine. It's just, and I started off like that, doing that.
Yeah.
But then it got to a point where I was happy and I had all the stuff I wanted. I was like, actually, you start to think about it, because when you're collecting, you always feel like, I need to get that next thing, I need to get this thing to my collection. And then when you've got everything you want, you kind of like realise I don't need this.
Yeah.
And I never play it, and then you sell it, and then I just get the things I really want, and who knows where I'm going to go from now. Whether I just get rid of everything and just happily watching playing streams, you never know.
Yeah.
How my mind may turn in the future. But I mean, like, it's always nice to have little things, but at the moment I just like to, I've minimalised. I just have a small amount of things that I love, and, you know, I don't even need to look at them, I just know that I've got them and I like them. So that's my standpoint of collecting now. Whereas before, it was like collect everything, you know. Yeah.
But it's definitely a very personal thing, because you get people like, you know, who dedicate their life to collecting the original media, and to them that brings them more enjoyment, arguably, than even playing the games does, I think. But for me, that wouldn't, you see.
One day we could do some sort of podcast or something talking about this, sort of like collecting and how we see it and like the future of it. Yeah, maybe we could talk about something.
It'd be cool to, once COVID goes, maybe get out there and meet a few people as well. So maybe me and you get on the road and we go and meet up with some people that see collecting really differently. That'd be cool to do.
Yeah.
Go to the museums and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, I do have a bit of a soft spot for the original hardware. That's my thing, is like, I like to play them on original hardware. But that's just me. I mean, there might come a time where that doesn't work for me, because it's really quite time consuming maintaining original systems. you know, things tend to break, or you get the flash carts and like they're sometimes quite expensive. So yeah, like that's kind of what's worked for me, is getting the original systems, but that might change. But yeah, definitely good to maybe us two to look at that at some point. Yeah, and see.
What put me off collecting games that were super expensive was when I heard there was a panel in America, and there's this guy called Rue who used to hang around Game Chasers, and he's like a scientist guy, and he knows all about technical stuff and whatever and this sort of thing. And he talked about these old games and said, like, you know, what you have to understand is when you're paying thousands for a game, you also have to take consideration that this game will not last forever either.
Yeah.
Like, games suffer from bit rot.
That's right.
CDs will last, they say, like 10, 15, 20 years, 25 years if you really look after it. Cartridges may last a little bit longer than CDs, maybe 10 years longer than CDs, but you know, a cartridge and a CD will, you know, look at these old NES cartridges, they last for probably about 50 to 60 years if really looked after. So if you spend 25,000, I don't know quite how much Nintendo World Championships is, but like it's eventually it's gonna not work. And I heard that and I was like, it was one day going to stop working, so I was kind of like, well, and then the mini consoles came out, and I was like, well, the mini console's got all the games I love on it, then I might as well get rid of all these games I've got, but eventually one day will just fail on me.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And then kindly the other day, Newton came up, sorted me out all the games that were missing from my collection.
Yeah.
So now I've got all the stuff I want on an official Nintendo device, and that's fantastic for me. That's perfect for me. That's just what I want. Whereas before I had a filing cabinet full of games and all this sort of stuff, and some games I couldn't get because they were too expensive. Yeah. Talking about maintaining old games reminds me of how I bought a soldering set, just replaced a battery. That's very true. Yeah, like battery backup games or something like that. You can just replace them. And you've got a whole new battery backup. I'm talking about bit rot, where I don't know how it works. You have to watch the thing, the panel where Rue is on it. I don't know how it works, but it's bit rot, where solar rays get into the cart, what is it?
I know what you mean, into like CDs and stuff, and you're absolutely right, Will, the way you're putting it. This is exactly what happens. You know, I've got loads of Sega Saturn games.
But it gets to that and it flips the bits or something, and it causes bit rot. So when sometimes you get games, you put it in, you need to blow on it, and all the screen comes up with all this pixely stuff. That's kind of like, supposedly from what I know, the start of bit rot, where games are starting to screw up. So, and you get oxidization as well, and that sort of thing. So you really have to take care of games, essentially, to keep them cool and keep them going. Ironically, you can't really play them, which is what we kind of, if you want a game collection, that's kind of what you stand against. So, yeah, that kind of like broke my heart a little bit when I heard about like games that are going to eventually all die on us. So emulation and these mini consoles and King consoles and putting the game onto it is flipping awesome by me. Yeah, solar rays, I had to take as cool. What a place to come in. Yeah, I don't know much about bit rot, but all I know is the fact that eventually all these games that we know and love.
It's mainly CDs where that's the issue, Will. Like particularly CDs. Yeah. Like Sega Saturn is a big one, and PlayStation 1.
Sega Saturn.
And Mega CD, Turbografx as well. The Turbografx CD is pretty much rotting away.
On these CD. Yeah, but the lasers also on these CD machines as well are going to be affected in the future, you know.
Yeah, well that's a bit of a maintenance issue. Like in some ways that's why, for me, like what I'm playing on now, having a... I've got essentially a replacement for the CD-ROM drive in the Turbografx, and that's how I'm playing the CD-based games. I feel like that's quite good from a preservation standpoint, because if that technology was never developed to replace the CD-ROM drive, we'd just lose whole games. Like something like this one is probably valuable because, yeah, easily could have got lost to history. Thankfully it didn't, and people are still able to play it. But yeah, video game preservation has become really important.
Yeah, I mean, another thing, you're making... I'm cutting cardboard, Bill, making you proud. Nice. Another thing is with film. I don't know much about Doctor Who, but there was a lot of the old Doctor Who episodes on film. All the film eroded, or didn't work, or raised itself or something. You know, like the reels of film that all eroded, and they've lost like thousands of episodes of that.
Such a shame.
Film. Another thing that was not backed up properly and just disappear. Just crazy thing.
Yeah.
Imagine if like one day like games from our childhood disappeared. It's like these games are all digital now. Do you reckon they're going to be around in the future to play? You know, like big games that, I mean, it's not to my taste, but like Fortnite and stuff like that, which are kind of like iconic everywhere. Will they be around in the future? You know, in years and years and decades and centuries to come. You know,
I feel like this is where the pirates are actually doing everybody, like preservationists, a real favour, because like early 90s PC games and things like that are only really preserved because they were shared on media sites, and a lot of the time there was like copy protection in games, which would mean you wouldn't be able to play them again. But all of the hackers got around the copy protection when they leaked it onto the net, and that means they're still playable today. If they hadn't done that, a lot of those games would just be completely lost. Nobody would ever be able to play them again. Which is crazy, really.
City's just said that basically the BBC threw away the Doctor Who episodes. Just threw them away. That's it, gone. Whereas now, maybe in digital, it might be easier to preserve history because you can just have it everywhere. Whereas kind of like you've got to rely on a cartridge that has that stuff in, or a CD. And if all the CDs get thrown away, that's it, it's gone. Whereas if it's digital, it's in a cloud, it can always be accessed potentially. But, you know, if that cloud disappears or something gets erased, then that's gone. It's very hard to preserve. The whole season of TV shows and movies that sometimes get lost to studio fires, like, sorry, put my phone up. There's a Wallace and Gromit. Do you remember Wallace and Gromit? There was a huge fire up in the studios. Loads of like Wallace and Gromit stuff got burnt down and lost, thousands of things and characters. Terrifying. They threw away a chunk of the original Doctor Who episodes. Just chucked them in the can. Oh man. It's kind of heartbreaking to hear that. Like,
something actually happened in the last couple of months with a load of Sega like source code. So source code is like the programming behind the games. It allows you, if you got the source code, you can basically look at how it was programmed, move it to another system, whatever it might be. And like a cleaner for a load of CDs into a Goodwill shop over in America, and they were full of source code to like really iconic Sega games. And I think they found like one CD with source code, but the rest I think just went in the bin. So like some of the really, really big Sega games that everybody wants ported have been lost completely. And Square did something similar. They lost the source code to, I think it was like Final Fantasy VIII. And when they remade Final Fantasy VIII, they had to begin it from the ground up because they lost the source code. Which is crazy. You know, source code's only, to those games, would only be a few gigabyte or something. I just don't know how you'd lose it, but it's almost a video game equivalent of losing the masters for Doctor Who or something similar. It's really, I really actually think the fan communities have a role to play in preserving history at the moment. They certainly have when it comes to ROMs and things, but also whenever any source code gets leaked online, that gets archived by the community pretty much forever. This is a really good game, by the way. I've kind of lost track of what I was doing and just sat here.
No, you keep on
trying to play it.
Just like
it's
you
a lot of fun.
I'll read the comments. I've never seen a single episode of Doctor Who, but my guess is the show is about time travelling. I think something like that. I've never seen it myself, to be fair, but I remember seeing an episode as a kid and freaking the hell out. Best to have both a physical and digital backup. I'm actually happy there's going to be a physical release of Scott Pilgrim game. Love Scott Pilgrim, man. That's a good film. But like, Yeah, I mean, everything seems to be going digital now, and a lot of people are in two minds about video games being digital. Me, personally, I love to be able to hold what I bought, and sometimes I even go the extra mile in getting the collector's edition, and I definitely am one from those people getting collector's editions of games. Maybe not so much anymore, but I definitely like to know that I bought something rather than just clicking something, getting a notification email saying that I bought it. But, you know, maybe I've got all the things I want now, so when I get, you know, for example, like I got a PlayStation 4, so I'm not really too fussed now about games. You know, I'm happy with just buying it digitally. You got Scott Pilgrim on your old 360 drive. Oh, right. The game was trapped in Xbox 360 for a while, and if you deleted it, you'd never get it back. Now it's being released on PlayStation and Switch physically. Excellent. Final Fantasy VIII source code has never been found or remade. All Square Enix did was remaster and make the emulation box around the Steam and original PC versions.
Yeah, it's interesting that sort of path they went. I'm just surprised that they'd lose something like that because, I mean, Final Fantasy is worth a lot of money as a franchise. Like anything Final Fantasy, you'd want to keep hold of, wouldn't you? Yeah, very surprising.
I
Just
keep
buying
my,
random
I've
stuff
got
off
my
him.
I've got my Doom 2 project backed up on a USB stick, 2 hard drives, the cloud, my MacBook, and my iMac. Still worried about losing it. So yeah, I got it backed up quite severely, but yeah, I'm still worried that I'll lose everything.
I assume this is the boss of the games now.
I'm going to split back digital. I've got an indie games digital support, you know, yeah. I mean, I don't really play games like I did back in the day. Like I say, I've got everything that I want to have and means something to me. I struggle with this word. Sentimental. I've got everything that's sentimental to me, like the games I grew up with. I found as much as I could from my childhood that I can keep. I don't need anything else. If a game comes out that I really want to play and I'm really excited about, I will just get it digital. I'm not really fussed about having it. You know, like, I think one thing for me is the fact that, like, games for me now, they're a lot more different to how it felt when I was growing up. There was so much more excitement about playing games when I was growing up than there is now. I know that might be a controversial thing to say, but like, I'm not as excited about games as I was back in the day, you know, when the N64 was coming out and Super Nintendo games, and going to car boot sales to pick them up and not knowing what you're going to come home with. There was something so exciting about that, whereas now kind of like games kind of like, there's so many spoilers and so much let's plays and all this sort of thing that there's not much left to the imagination of games anymore. And also older too.
I think ironically that's why I quite like this PC Engine wheel, because these are brand new games that nobody's ever talked about. So when I'm playing them, I really am finding them for the first time. Yeah, that's one of the things I've really enjoyed about actually the growth of the internet, is suddenly having so many more games to play. Because there came a point where it was like I'd played the majority of Sega games that I wanted to, and it was like games are just getting a little bit samey. And then suddenly, I find myself playing Magical Chase on the PC Engine, which I'd never even heard of when I was a kid. And that, for me, that kind of keeps gaming alive, discovering new stuff. And then I've tried to have more of an open mind to modern games in the last year or so. I'm finding they're actually very good. But, yeah.
Do you know what I really... Sorry, Tom.
No, don't worry.
Do you know what I really like about this is the fact that you're playing a £1,000 game without even caring about the fact that it's £1,000. You're just enjoying it for what it is.
Yeah. If it was an awful game, I wouldn't play it.
Some people would be too afraid to put this in.
That's right.
Because of it damaging it.
You'd never take it out of the packaging, would you?
But you're just playing it for what it is and enjoying it for what it is, and not even caring the fact it's £1,000 to buy.
No, it could be £5, and I'd still enjoy it for what it is. This is a really
Let me
tough
just
boss,
leave it
by
on
the
chat.
way. I don't know how to beat this one.
Keep on going, Tom. I received a new Call of Duty for my birthday. Black Ops and Christmas, both digital. Got no issues with that. That's fine. That's fine. And I got Doom game collections, Castlevania, some others. I think nowadays we're kind of spoiled for choice as well. Yeah, there's so much around. There is so much around. So many indie games. I mean, not to mention the fact that if you got a mobile phone, there's so many games you can get for free.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like games cost a lot of money. If you got a game, it's a big deal, you know.
Yeah.
You got a game, it's an exciting thing. Whereas now it's kind of like you can just fulfill your need for games and just not have to spend a penny.
Yeah.
So kind of like, you know,
if you got a dud, you were stuck with it too. Like if you got like a really bad
if you got a dud,
game.
you're stuck. But the thing is though, you got a dud, you're stuck with it, but you still appreciated it. I got loads of duds, but I like them. You know, like
Yeah.
Super Flipping Hide Alive.
And you kind of find the redeeming qualities in the duds, wouldn't you? That was the thing back in the day.
That's it. You just play it until you liked it.
Yeah.
So many games, so little time to fully enjoy them. Except I've got a huge collection of games. You know, I've got like 1,700 of them lying there. That's more. That's probably about 1,695 more games than I've got. Call of Duty will be good for a few years. I have a physical of almost all of them. Do you have the one with the drinking bottle that you can't drink out of? What a rip-off that was. I got that too. Call of
What's
Duty
that?
World at War. with the
What's
drinking
that, Will? I
bottle
don't know
you
about
can
that.
drink From. Yeah, he got a drinking bottle and he said,
Yeah.
do not drink from this. So I was like, what's he for then? In fact, I'm literally watching you guys game while I'm grinding my Pokemon Heart Gold.
Brilliant.
And I don't want to play the old ones much, so digital was easy. Most digital editions I have were like half price. Yeah. But I mean, it's the way it's a good thing. Everything is digital. You know, we've got a plastic island out the size of Texas.
Yeah.
We need to stop using so much plastic and wasting so much stuff because we're running out of the world's resources. And when we run out of the world's resources, God knows what's going to happen.
I'll tell you what I have
Some people don't
come
want
round
to
to.
play
I don't know if you've used this, Will. Is Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Now. Those are really good. Speaking of digital, I don't know if you've looked at them, but you basically pay a monthly fee, and it works a bit like Netflix or something, and you get loads of the latest games. So, for example, on Xbox Game Pass,
really
it's
cool.
like Doom Eternals on there and stuff like that. So
Personally,
that's a cool way to do it.
Personally, I think that is the future. I think basically a Netflix-like platform is going to replace buying games from stores.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You know, shops are going to be a thing of the past, man. We're not going to have shops anymore. We're not going to have a house to go and buy a game. That's so obsolete. You know, we're not going to need to do that anymore. You just sit in your house, you buy a game for $39.99, and there it is immediately. You walk out the house, you do your stuff, or take the dog for a walk, and when you come back home, it's downloaded. Or maybe that's going to be a thing of the past as well. Maybe you just buy it and it's there.
Yeah,
Where
I
it
think
needs
that's
to download
probably
before
quite
it
likely because download speeds just can get faster and faster. I don't know if you've
Better.
tried out any cloud game. Cloud gaming. That's what it's called. Like where you stream games. But that's quite interesting as a premise. You get that on PlayStation Now, where you can just stream PlayStation games from the internet. So you don't even need to install them. They just play in your browser. Crazy.
Really?
But it does actually work. That's the surprising thing. But you need a good internet connection to do it.
I reckon, as well, just thinking about it now, I reckon that you'll be able to link your YouTube account or Twitch account up to the game.
Yeah.
And just sign into your Twitch account on the game, and then you'll be able to go and play YouTube on the game as you do it, and set up your stream on the YouTube on the game,
Yeah.
and then just go.
None of this
Stuff like
OBS
that
stuff.
is just- yeah, like none of this OBS or anything more. You just sort your stream, and then just put everything you need into the game, and then that'll be it. And there'd be something like that in the future, like it'd be like Netflix, but it'd be like Netflix, but alternatively like a Netflix streaming platform, a gaming Netflix streaming platform where you have all your games, and you just take that game, put it in the stream, set it up how you want, and that's it. That's how it's going to go. We're going to look back and this OBS and this Discord and this YouTube, and go, oh my god, all these different things we have. Look how obsolete it is.
Yeah, I think it's definitely reached the point where like the only reason we're still having to do it all is because, yeah, like it's unnecessarily complicated. Like there's no reason that a console couldn't run some kind of streaming software, for example, but we still have to have a PC because for whatever reason that hasn't been made a thing yet. But yeah, there'll definitely come a time where that's the case, Will, I reckon.
I mean,
right,
like,
this boss
I'm
is
not
really
too
tough.
fussed about. All right, you do it, Tom. Do you want me to be quiet?
Oh no, I'm all good. I haven't quite worked out his pattern. So I know he shoots down that way, but you can see how tough he is. I'm just not quite sure how I'm meant to fight this one. If anybody has any ideas about patterns for this boss, this is where I need you to be my look at the user guide.
Really tough.
Yeah, well it's just like relentless,
Staircase animations.
non-stop getting shot at. I might just try and...
Don't worry.
Oh, maybe I can do this.
I'm watching a movie. Don't worry. We've been talking about the future of the internet and where we think it's all going to go. Personally, I think. I personally. I think I'm not worried about like YouTube or anything or getting big subscriber counts because I reckon it's all just going to disappear one day. Personally.
Yeah.
It's all just going to disappear and replace something else.
Well, I think what's likely is that I feel like not necessarily YouTube, but user-created content is here to stay. But I think there'll be so many content creators that there won't be like big providers. Basically, people are just going to go on to the equivalent of Twitch, click, I want to look at a game, and then, yeah, just see what comes out of nowhere. Because I just think
there
it's becoming so easy, isn't it?
People now.
Yeah.
There are so many famous people, and not only that, they're becoming like millionaires, overnight millionaires from like eating junk food in their car.
Yeah.
And I just I can't believe it. Like, you know, and you know, buy my merch. What are we buying merch for? Well, I eat junk food in my car. It's just I just find it crazy. I mean, everyone's to their own. But I just find it mad.
Yeah.
With PS4, you can stream native to YouTube. Oh, okay. But Microsoft needs you to stream capture from the device. Yeah, it will be integrated one day. We'll have to wait and see. Definitely. But I mean, like, I don't know. I watched this video today of a man dressed as a pig, making pig noises, and then dived face first into a plate of baked beans. And I saw he had like 1 million subscribers, and then I was just like, what the hell? That's what gets views these days.
Crazy.
So I kind of give up with it all. I just feel sorry for the people out there that are sort of really trying, making really good content and stuff like that. Like, there's plenty of people I know that make really good content that just never get noticed because people would rather watch people jumping, diving first and debate play with baked beans just as a pig.
To be fair, I think we should make
It's
that, Will.
true.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm in the wrong profession. Maybe that is what I need to do.
think you
It's
are,
shock
yeah.
value, isn't it? There's this girl that's really, really famous on YouTube, and it's kind of like she was just rubbing her face on pizza like that. And obviously everyone's like, what the hell? You got to see this video. It's crazy. Some woman's rubbing a pizza on her, but she's very crafty because she knows people are going to think that's crazy. So she knows she's going to make probably £1 million for that video. Baffling. But that's the future. Hopefully not.
Our storm waves picked up on the game. Yeah, Puyo Puyo. So
Puyo
yeah,
Puyo.
I thought I'd give this a go just to see how did it differ from the many other versions. And so far, it doesn't really differ from the many other versions.
No,
but I do love a bit of Puyo Puyo.
I do remember this.
Yeah, you'll know it as Mean Bean Machine.
Yeah, a Mean Bean Machine, that's it, yeah, and the rocks come down, don't they?
That's right. So
I know I asked the last stream, but when is the next stream? Tuesday.
yeah,
We do...
Tom and
we're
Will
trying
Tuesdays.
Me and Tom are still kind of like, we're still kind of new to streaming. Sorry, I'm completely out of the picture there. we're still kind of new to streaming, and we're trying to sort of work out which works best for us. We think Tuesday might be a good one. We eat junk food in cars. I'm talking about the guys like Joey's World Tour. You've seen that? Mostly because we get distracted. I'm talking about, you've seen Joey's World Tour where he's just like literally like covering his face in cheese. I'm just like, what the heck? You've seen that, Tom?
No, I haven't. I feel like I've missed out. I've been misusing my life, not seeing this high quality content.
Yeah. He's eating like, he's eating Nutella off a plate with a Mickey Mouse hat on with no hands.
No
and
way.
He tends to be sick, and it's just the most grotesque thing ever. But he gets views, I guess. But
Yeah.
better him than me.
Yeah.
But he's a celebrity now, I think. He'd probably be running for president.
I mean, to be fair, he can't be as much of a clown as the current president, can he? And I don't mean Joe Biden there, by the way. I mean
not.
the man who got banned from Twitter.
I'm blurring out the trending tab on Twitter. I'm not watching the news. I can't handle the world right now, man. It's crazy. I just want to start 2021 with a bit of good news. The streaming seems to be quite nice. I want to stay away. I don't want to go outside. I'm not allowed outside, but it's a scary world we're living in. Hello there.
It's scary. I just got killed on a really easy level.
Oh no!
I'll have to retry that. I just played really badly there. I was trying to set up too many. Rainy Tails! There he is, or she is. I don't know. I don't want to assume your gender. I love the way, Rainy Tails, you've got blue knuckles as your avatar. That's really cool. Maybe at some point I'll do a blue Knuckles playthrough of Sonic 3 and Knuckles just for you. Even though it's like super glitchy. We'll see how far we can get. Sorry, Will, I'm just like isolating you out there with all the Sonic talk.
You do whatever you need to do, dude.
Very much appreciating
I'm just
Rainy
waffling
Tails
on
is going.
about the internet and how much it annoys me sometimes and how scary it can be. And some of the things I like to talk about, but never thinking about what I want to say before I say it, you know? Like the 80s and how like everyone loves the 80s, but realises that maybe it's actually a harder time than before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The music's quite cool to this. Sorry, Will, I know you can't hear the music because you're on Discord.
I can't hear it. I'm jealous.
Yeah, the music in these games generally has been pretty good on the whole. I think
Yeah.
the CD audio for what are essentially 8-bit games is quite a distinctive thing, really. It works pretty well. Ah, that did not go where I wanted it to.
I'll be interested when we play the stream back to hear the audio because I haven't heard any of it yet. None of it. We've got 7 people watching. If you wouldn't mind giving us a like on this stream, it lets us know you're having a good time. It makes us feel like we want to do more. Although we're going to do it regardless, basically. But
That's it. I think you put it well when you said if you do YouTube, do it for fun. You know, don't do it to try and get big. Just do it because you enjoy it.
I think it's the most important thing of anything. Is to do it for fun is the most important thing because if you're not doing it for fun, just get a job.
Yeah.
And it might be hard to say that, but the thing is though, like if you're not enjoying it, then do a job that you don't enjoy and get paid for it. A lot easier than it would do YouTube because YouTube is not an easy way to get paid at all. And also with making videos as well, if you're not enjoying it, it definitely shines through that you're not enjoying yourself. Like, I don't want to bring it up again because I like it, but cinematics you could definitely see there was something going on where they weren't enjoying it. Or something was happening they weren't enjoying it. And then something falls apart a little bit.
Yeah.
I got recommended your channel by someone who shares the same YouTube philosophy as you guys. Blimey, what's my philosophy? I didn't know about a philosophy behind YouTube. But enlighten me. Let me know what you think it is. It'd be interesting to know. I play it on my Genesis Mini. I got a Genesis Mini too. It's a fantastic little thing.
They're great, aren't they?
Shout out to the Black Pants Legion. Indeed, the Black Pants Legion. They're sick. Tex
to the
is
pants.
amazing. He's the best voice in the world. Tom, you have to meet Tex. He's a super guy. He's on my Discord actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's only 7 people here, but go and subscribe to the Black Pants Legion. They're super. Super Bunch. Tex is a friend of mine. He's a cool dude, and he's helped me out so many times when he does his streams. I always go, "Hey Tex, how you doing?" And he goes on like a 5-minute talk about how you should subscribe to me, and it's really nice.
Oh, cool.
I'm really appreciative. So thanks, Tex. There's 9 of you watching. Go and subscribe to the Black Pants Legion. How you doing, Tom?
Yeah, doing good. This is very much just Puyo Puyo. I realise I've got into a weird dynamic where I'm starting to play games just on stream now rather than play them any other time. If I weren't streaming, I'd probably just be sitting there playing games, but instead now I just play it on stream, and it's great because people seem to be getting behind it, and I like to just play some games. There isn't really much else to do, so yeah, I'm kind of not really even concentrating much on what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here playing away. I'd kind of almost forgotten I was on stream for a minute there. I was just like, oh yeah, Puyo Puyo, I know this game well. Did you ever play Mean Bean Machine and stuff like that, Will? Back in the day?
I have played. It's really good. I like it. But it's quite good to set up. We've got to remember, because I like talking to people through live, but I'm not very good at games. Excuse me. So it's kind of handy that I've got someone that can really play games well, but also good to interact with and talk to people here that are on the channel. So it works very well. I like it.
Yeah.
It was so much better than when I was streaming. My streams were awful. I don't care what anyone says, they were flipping awful. I'd sit there, be terrible at a game, occasionally maybe get close to completing one, but they were generally awful.
I think what it might have been is that you didn't always enjoy actually playing the game as well. Whereas, for me, what you were saying about when things shine through, I actually genuinely really enjoy playing games. So I'm not acting. If I'm responding, I'm like, oh, I'm actually enjoying this. This is good fun. Whereas, if you're just going, oh, I'll do it because I feel I should. What's this about paper tails sprites? That sounds interesting. What's that staircase? Paper tails sprites.
Make another video of your. Make another animation. Yeah, I love to talk and to get people's opinions, because I'm sort of quite varied on my opinions of kind of game collecting and my experiences of playing games and why I play games and killing it. Because I'm sort of I segregate myself to just what I like to play. And it's my perception of playing games is more down to the fact of kind of what I grew up with, rather than playing new stuff. Because ideally I used video games as kind of as a call it I don't
like
know
a support almost, wasn't it? It's like something to just get you through the rough times in your life almost.
Yeah, but I sort of use video games as kind of the focal point of behind art, creating things, because I've got this feeling of nostalgia and stuff. I play video games and I love it. Can't think of another thing that I could use to draw or to manipulate into something creative, and I chose video games to do that. And yeah, man, I love it. I love it. It's a good thing. But the thing is that I do.
What you're saying in some ways, Will, sorry to cut you off for a second, is that you're kind of an artist first and a gamer second. Mainly you're an artist, but you love gaming.
I think you're right, man.
But yeah, and that's no bad thing.
I use games as kind of a thing to sort of bounce off. I've got this knowledge of games. I'm not, like I say, Tom, I'm not a great video game player at all. I can't really play video games, but I just love their existence, and I like to sort of think about them, talk about them, and make my own things based around them.
Kind of inspire you almost, don't they? Video games. That's what I get from you. That video games inspire you a lot. Something about it, whether it's how people play them, whether it takes you back to a better time, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's just that inspiration that you get from them. It's cool, actually.
It's like there's some artists I know that love horror movies, and they base their art around horror movies. Games where you'll use maps. That's the word I'm trying to find. Use. Yeah. That's the word.
It's got really weird music, this version. Sorry, just to jump onto Puyo Puyo for a second, but it's got a totally different soundtrack to any version I've played before.
Unfortunately, I can't hear it.
No, you have to go back and listen to. It's a really interesting
I'll check it
platform
out.
because it's basically an 8 or 16-bit system, but everything has CD audio, which is actually really interesting. I feel like I'll quit out of this because it is just Puyo Puyo. Much as I love Puyo Puyo, I feel like everybody's seen that a million times.
It's nice though, man. It's nice though because like you like you say, you're genuinely enjoying playing the game. You're not playing it because you think you have to. You're playing it because you enjoy it. And you sort of like drifted off for a bit while I just sat here and just talked to people and where you're playing a game and enjoying yourself. And that's how game playing should be. It's just like drifting off and playing it and enjoying it. Game Ground. Tell you a story about this, man.
Oh, dude.
My brother got some sort of plug and play device, some bootleg plug and play device from Barcelona.
All right.
He was out skateboarding in Barcelona, and they bought this thing, and they got very, very drunk, I think, and played this for like 10 hours or something.
Really?
And got to some stupidly high level on it, and they were just like, and then the Spear guys, friends of Spears. They told I only know that from what they've told me. There's some Spear guys in for Spears at you.
That's right.
They
Yeah.
were really drunk and playing this game. But yeah, they loved it.
It's a cool
And
game.
they just
It's
thought the music
definitely
was hilarious.
definitely underrated even on the Mega Drive. And then this version's, I mean, nobody would have played the Turbografx version. But I think it's
they
really
loved
cool.
it. They're playing it for ages. Game Ground, yeah.
A lot of people try and play it like it's a typical shmup, but it isn't. It's more of a strategic game because it's quite slow moving, and you have to kind of really pick like where you're moving and stuff quite carefully. Yeah, it's good fun. And this one's got a CD soundtrack, which makes it even better.
I only ever remember the music from what they told me it was because they were singing it. So does it go?
That's right. Do 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 do. I tell you what I could do is just put my mic next to my speaker, and then you'd hear it. But
this is the essence of what Let's Plays are. People just talking about whatever while playing video games. Yeah, I mean, this is how it was back in the day. I mean, this is exactly how it was when I was growing up. I would sit there because I never liked to play games, and that's why I'm not good at games now. It's because I would sit there, and it wouldn't be you, Tom. It would be my friend Ben, who Tom knows from back in the day. So this is really kind of weird, really. But like, Ben would be sitting there playing the games, and I'd sit there, and then I'd give him my game that I bought from Car Boot Sale. It was my game for him to play. But Tom knows my childhood friend Ben, and we're from the same town. So it's kind of like nothing's really changed.
it's really strange because this friend Ben that he's mentioning, I became friends with when I was about 20, or probably more like 17 or 18. Like after Bill had moved away and everything, so we kind of had the same childhood friend, but at different times, which is really weird. And then we became friends, like more recently. We kind of met. Will and I can't even fully remember it, but we know we met at least once or twice when we were younger.
Actually, Tom,
yeah.
It's like you made friends with Ben. I moved away for 20 years.
Yeah.
For 20 years, came back to my hometown. You were here, and I went, I vaguely remember you.
It was
and
hilarious.
then we became friends. Realised we're still into games from 25 years ago, and then started playing them again. And here we are. It's really flipping weird.
What
really
cracked me
weird.
up was I got a Facebook message from you out of the blue going, "Hi Tom, do you still like video games? I like video games too.
Yeah.
I'm making a YouTube channel. Do you fancy having a look?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right then." And then little did I know we'd end up, living the dream streaming together. That's great.
It's really weird when you think about it, isn't it? But like nothing's really changed, and like we're not really playing retro games because the games that we play. It's really weird.
This isn't even for us. This is not a retro game. This is a new game because I never had Game Ground on the Turbografx. I never even had the Mega Drive version. So yeah, it's funny. It kind of is like we're doing what we would have done when we were younger with very similar games.
It's right, isn't it?
And just hanging out. Yeah,
We're just playing. We're just continuing.
that's it.
What we could do?
This
You
is
make
a
a
lot of
separate
fun.
channel or something like, called Continue or something.
Yeah.
Where we just like
What, where we just try and
continue
be-
where we left off.
Like we were kids again. Yeah.
Yeah, total streams of conscience while some sort of colourful adventure is going on in the back, where escapism meets the tangible world we live in. Deedy-doo.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
There's your new channel description, Will, right there. And somebody made a
Yeah.
logo for our Tuesday nights, so you know, I feel like the
Yeah.
fans are making the content for us nowadays. We can just sit back and put our feet up, and you know, everybody else will come out with the content.
When you think about it in a way, it's kind of like literally like I was playing games with Ben, my friend Ben, then you made friends with him, but I'd moved away
Yeah.
for 25 years.
So weird.
And I came back.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
So funny.
Ben had moved away, and you were still there. Met you. Went, oh, I remember you knowing Ben, the guy I hung around with. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's really weird. It's really weird when you think about it.
It really
Quite
is,
cool.
yeah. It's funny how life goes,
really
and the fact that like we'd never really knew each other very well at all. Like I feel like we might have met once or twice, and
Yeah,
then we've ended up being really good mates now.
definitely
But like we
Well-
never, so we lived in the same town and everything, and from the same area, but we didn't really connect
Yeah.
until we were in our 30s. It's weird how things go. It's funny.
You've got a question, Tom.
Oh
You've
yeah.
got a question. Hey, Tom. What's your favourite game?
Ah, Sonic
Very,
3 and
very
Knuckles.
straightforward.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely.
If you came for the first stream, or maybe the second stream it was, Tom like obliterated that game. He got every Chaos Emerald. He got the Super Emerald. He got like Super Sonic in the first.
Second level
Yeah,
it was,
right.
yeah. And then the
Yeah,
first level
and
of
he
Sonic
beat
and
the
Knuckles,
game.
you get him back again.
Got to Doomsday Zone, and he did it in less than like an hour and a half,
Oh,
maybe less
I
than
died.
that. He obliterated it.
It was
But
quite a good
that's-
run, to be
that's
fair.
top.
Yeah, I love that game. It's such a good one. I mean, I feel like
It's cool because we
obviously we're playing weird, obscure games that I don't know very well at the moment. But at some point, we'll do that again. Play some games I know a bit better, because it is fun to sort of almost play the tour guide a bit for people. Because I feel like a lot of people out there have never played through elements of games that they own. So, like you will, when you were like, "Oh, what's the Super Emerald? And who's Hypersonic?"
Yeah.
And it was really nice for me to be able to show you that in like a game that you had such
that
a
was
connection
really
to.
cool, man.
Yeah,
I've
it's
sort of seen it in
really
its
cool.
full glory. I mean, it took like an hour and a half, but you showed me like all the things that I might have missed. Because let's face it, I did complete that game back in the day, but there was a lot that I missed. Tom is great when it comes to video games. He is very good. And this is the best thing about it, because like I keep on saying it, and I'll say it probably once again though after this, but like Tom is kind of like what this channel needs, because he is the person there that can educate me about games that I may have missed and knows a lot more about this stuff than I do. Whereas me, I've just got my memories from the past. But you got to understand with me is my family wasn't so rich and couldn't afford all the games that I may have needed and missed out on. So Tom's the guy that can educate me in the games that I missed on back in the past.
You make it
Whereas
sound like
me,
I was
I just make my memories about a cardboard, you know.
I need to jump in there. You make it sound like I'm a millionaire, Will. Like you go, oh, I didn't have much money, but Tom would have had money in all these games. I didn't. What it was I grew up and there was a store around the corner from me that rented out video games for £3 a week.
Right.
So I'd have a different game every week. So that's how I played every Mega Drive game. I just have to like, jump in.
I never knew about that.
You made it sound like I was loaded. I was like, I wish I was loaded to have every game ever.
All we knew about was kind of like you have to buy them. You go to
Yeah.
a car boot sale or Woolworths or something like that, and we bought Earthworm Jim. I remember picking up Earthworm Jim, going to the counter, and my mum said, "How much is that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a £5." And she's like, "Oh, right, I'll get it for you." Went to the counter and it was 40 quid.
Oh,
And she's like, "I can't get that for you." And I was like, "Oh." Put on the sad eyes, and she crumbled. I was like, "Whoa!" She bought it for me. And
Yeah.
She bought me Earthworm Jim, and I was like, I took it home and played it. I was like, "Wow, I just just bought a really expensive game. You know, this is a serious deal. And I got it, and I was like, that's it, ingrained into my mind, this game now. Yeah, good fun times. Like Mega Games 1, I remember getting that. And I was like,
that was great.
Games on one thing? Good fun times, man. But this is the thing, like games back then, they were expensive.
They really were.
It was just one. It's not kind of like you can just go on your phone and download a bunch of free games and trials and in-app purchases and all that sort of thing. You know, one game, and if you died 3 times, that was it.
Yeah, and there's no ROMs and no emulation. So like,
no emulation, no ROMs, no downloadable content, nothing. Just
I mean, you think now how
put it in
often?
a console.
Like I do it myself. I'll try out a ROM from a retro game just to see if I like it. But back then there was no emulation, so you'd be buying one of those retro games and it'd be a massive risk. You might only get 1 game in a year or 2 games in a year, and if you got one that sucked, you'd kind of be stuck with it really, unless you traded with someone in your school. But even that was a big risk because you didn't know if they were going to offload a dub to you as well. So yeah, it's a very different time, wasn't it, in gaming?
Even if the game's bad, you kind of just played it until it was good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
You would just play it until, you know, you've really exhausted the possibility that this game is bad, because that's all you've got. I remember I got a game on Mega Drive called Corporation. You played it, right, Tom?
Yeah, well, you were playing it on the your Mega Drive Mini vlog as well.
Yeah.
Like we played it together, didn't we?
Bad.
And I was like, oh
And
man,
I played that.
what is this?
I played it until it was good. I was like, right, it's Doom. I'm walking around. Imagine it's really eerie and stuff like that. And I was like, no, this game is terrible. But let's keep on playing it. Because there's nothing else. What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
You can go outside in the garden.
Read a book. Oh, who'd read a book?
Read a book.
Read books.
Watch what's on TV. Countdown's on. Blockbusters is on.
We only had 4 channels as well back then.
Yeah, I'll just put Corporation back on again.
There must be
That's
something
what it was
good about
like
this
in the
game.
90s, man. Yeah, it was strange. It's not like kind of like you can sit on your phone, go on the internet, you can talk to your friends. There was none of that. I sound so old. But yeah, it was just kind of like, what else do I do?
Yeah.
Just go walk around the garden for a little bit.
But then, you know, I mean, having said all of that, I feel like it taught us some valuable lessons about being willing to give things a chance that maybe, if we hadn't grown up the way we had, didn't even see the enemy there, then, we never would have given certain games a chance. And then that might have also translated to things like friendships. You know, you might not have given certain friendships a chance. And, I don't know, even though it was like very similar to growing up in the noughties, and I can say that as somebody that's worked with teenagers for most of my working life. Like, I know what life is like for young people now, and it's not that different to when we're in the 90s, bar the fact that they're permanently in communication with everyone because of the internet. That's the biggest change. But yeah, I think the big distinctive thing was that we really had to be a bit more patient with things. What's Stormwave saying here? Luckily, I was too young to know what a mediocre game was. Yeah. Although,
Crazy to think that.
oh my goodness, Stormwave has said something. I didn't catch his comment beforehand, and I feel really sad for him. One of the original games my parents got me for our Genesis or Mega Drive was Bubsy. Can you imagine getting Bubsy?
And you never got to know what a mediocre game was.
Bubsy, 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 Bobcat.
Yeah, no, that's not great.
Ironically, though, I actually got Bubsy 2 on cartridge because it was going cheap somewhere, and like we were talking about, I managed to get some enjoyment from it. Even though I knew it wasn't a good game, I was able to look past the flaws and still find a way of having fun with it. And I think I finished it as well. Like, I played it enough to do that.
Games that I had that you would probably think are terrible, but I played, like I said, I played it until it got good for me. Super High Line, Corporation, Balls, Balls.
Yeah, I find it weird that I had that game as well.
Art Alive.
Yeah, I also had
I
that.
had Art Alive. Yeah, I had Art Alive. I played that. That was terrible. JCPG. What are you doing? We're playing Game Ground on the Mega Drive. It's alright. It's cool. It's very addictive, and I'm just waffling on. Right?
I love the music to it as well. The music's fantastic in this version. You should definitely check it out, Will, on the stream playback.
I'll listen to it afterwards. I'll listen to it headphones. I'll sleep with it on. Listen to it.
Yeah, with Lauren there as well. Like, she'll be like, "What are you listening to?" "Oh, this just helps me to sleep."
Yeah. This sends me to sleep slightly. But no, Game Ground. We're playing Game Ground. It's cool. Tom's killing it.
It's an awesome game. I think this is better than the Mega Drive version. So JCC PG. I think so. Like, I mean, the soundtrack's better. And the viewpoint's a bit different if you notice. It's zoomed in, whereas on the Mega Drive one you zoom back a bit. I know they're probably pretty comparable to be fair, but yeah, I'm really liking this version. I've got to say the controller is really comfortable for this. It's like it's like a slightly nicer NES pad, which is, I'm surprised I'm saying that because a lot of people don't like the controller for this, but I think it's really comfy.
Yeah,
like really nice to hold, and I mean, this has been quite a long gameplay session, and I'm still liking it.
It's kind of in between a NES controller, isn't it?
It's very similar. I'll pause in a moment and show you another close-up just so you can see the controller. But yeah, it's very, very similar to NES in that respect. I think that it's because they were trying to take the Famicom market share. They thought, right, if we just copy NES, then we'll be fine. Sonic Generations is your favourite Sonic game, says Staircase. That's a good choice. I like that one too, especially the PC version where they've added in modding into it. I think that's like amazing, some of the mods that are out there. And at some point we will do, because I know there's a lot of people here who I think saw Will's Sonic video and then saw me playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles and are big Sonic fans. Rest assured we will do more Sonic play at some point. We just quite enjoy keeping it diverse. I certainly do, even though I'm a big Sonic fan. I like being able to play something like Game Ground once in a while just to keep it varied.
Yeah, just to mix it up a little bit. We're trying to find games that are quite tough for Tom to play and to try and complete. Because I think Tom's a really good game player, but I reckon I want him to play some games that are real tough. It'd be really exciting for me because I want him to play Silver Surfer and try and complete that.
Silver Surfer.
Try and get you to complete that one. That'd be quite
good. What I would like to do that came up earlier on this stream would be Castlevania Rondo of Blood. That I think would be a good one to do. Like, especially if I could do it in one go. So in one sitting you can complete the whole game. No continues.
Difficult games that it's so frustrating, but when you do it, it's kind of like, you did it, you know.
To be fair, I found Mario 3 a bit like that near the end. Some of those final levels on the third Mario game were really tough. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like super difficult, but I feel like I died at least 9 times on one stage at one point. It was definitely a tough game. In a good way, though. The
controller is still a great controller. I agree with that.
Oh yeah, I'll show off the. I don't know how clear that is on. I'll make it bigger so you can see. Momentary moment of Super Turbografx controller. Yeah, that's the controller. So you see it's got the auto fire there. You flip that up and down and it puts your rapid fire on and off. You've got a run button and a select button. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I better move myself down from being a giant. There we go. Back in the stream. Out there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I might, although I'm enjoying Game Ground, I might swap game for something, just like to keep varying it, because really in many ways when I do streaming normally I would go, right, I'll choose a game and really showcase that game and really explore it, but what we're doing here really is more of an overview of the platform. I've got to say, the more I'm playing on it, the more I'm feeling like it really holds up as a system. Like it's growing on me more over time. Like I knew I liked it, but actually just seem to be picking out more and more really good games as time goes on. Like Game Ground that I was just playing, I could see being one that if ever I'm a bit bored, I'll probably just start playing. So yeah, it's been good. This is Gradius 2, which I played the first Gradius on the NES, but not the second, so it'd be quite interesting to see how this one plays. I think it's another one that's going to have amazing music as well. So sorry, Will, you won't get the benefit of that.
I won't get. All tonight it's been amazing music, and I've heard none of it.
That's something about PC Engine which I've not really shown loads of. There are so many shoot 'em up games, and I haven't shown loads of them because I thought it might be a bit boring for a stream if all I was doing was playing shmups. But yeah, it's a real shmuppers platform for sure. This is good.
Shmuppers Paradise.
Like Gangster's Paradise. Been spending most our lives living in the Schmuppers Paradise.
The soda flares, the sun there, turned into a dragon.
Yeah. Music. Oh, sorry, Will, I'm going on about the music again, but it is deadly. It is Savage Garden, as they might say. It's deadly, so it is. Oh, deadly! I really can't do the accent at all.
No, I can't either. That wasn't even an Irish one, then. Absolutely, no, that's Welsh.
I've never been able to do accents well. This is a really good game, I can tell already.
It looks good.
It's got a real Konami feel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I like it, it's good. It's good fun.
That's good.
Das ist gut, ja. Das
That's
ist sehr
wunderbar.
gut, ja. That looks so cool, that sun. Yeah, you definitely need to listen back to the music here.
There's a theory that the sun is going to erupt a massive solar flare, like those big waves that come off, and it's going to take out the Earth.
That's what 2021 has for us.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a cheap death. There's no way out of that one. Oh, it's got like voice samples as well. It's got talking and stuff, Will, which is weird.
First Golden Axe, and then you play this.
Yeah, I know. Like Golden Axe is
It's
so
really
awful,
weird, isn't it?
and then this is so cool. Maybe it's a bit inconsistent as a platform in that respect. Maybe there's like certain games will be amazing and some will just suck. Because this is definitely a great game.
The
But I
PC
can
Engine
tell
had very few bad games, thanks to the system not being popular outside Japan, and even then, it wasn't much of a success.
Yeah. Well,
Well, the thing is, Thomas told me that it outshone the Mega Drive in Japan.
yeah, that's pretty
That's
good.
a really good game.
And even outsold the Famicom for a short while. I think it sold something like 1.5 million units in Japan, I think, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is when that's one country. When you consider Sega Saturn, I think sold 10 million units worldwide.
Yeah.
It's definitely a tough game in a good way. It's got that kind of Konami challenge to it. Yeah, I feel like I'll do just one continue on this and then probably move game. But this is really cool. I mean, look at that boss.
That is really cool. It looks so much better because I'm watching this on YouTube,
Yeah.
and not OBS. Because the frame rate is really, really slow on the OBS. I'm watching it for ages, so a lot of these games that I've said aren't great. I probably need to rewatch because they look fantastic. This game especially looks fantastic on stream.
Yeah, it's fantastic in motion.
A lot clearer. On OBS, the frame rate is down like, it's not great.
And when you say OBS, you mean in Discord? Because what I've done,
In
because
Discord,
people are
in
interested,
Discord, yeah,
I've sent my OBS feed to Will on Discord, and that's how he's able to sort of follow along. Because otherwise, because his internet's a bit lame, you see. A bit lame. That was a real 90s.
It's a bit crappy.
Bit gash.
I'm stuck out in the woods, that's why it's no good. I must use the loo quickly. I'm busting for another whiz.
But when you come
Back in a
back,
second.
that's my turn to go on the Wii. Go on the Wii. That was a weird way to put it, wasn't it? Ah, yes, I beat him. I was really worried I wouldn't even beat the first boss. This is a great game. I'm definitely going to pick this one up to play again. Yeah, really like that one. If anyone has any requests for PC Engine games, feel free to put them in the chat. Now, I'm aware most of you will probably not have any requests because barely anyone's ever played on the platform. The only bad game I know of for this system is Darkwing Duck. Oh, and I suppose Golden Axe was pretty bad. There's a version of Altered Beast that's pretty sucky as well. that is a really cool game. I'm definitely going to play that more afterwards. So I'm going to go back in to look for the next game. Just want to keep things varied, but I'm already seeing just from this one evening on the platform loads of games that I feel are going to be ones that I pick up and play again. Like, it's a really, really good platform. Now, I'm aware most of you won't be being crazy like me and buying the original system. If you wanted to get into this, probably the easiest way would be to get the Turbografx Mini that came out. I find it a little bit overpriced for what it is, but it would give you like an easy introduction to the system. The other way you could get into this, of course, is just to emulate, and it's very easy to emulate. It doesn't take very much spec wise, so yeah, very easy system to get into. I actually myself got into this system because I just read about it in an article, and I thought, yeah, you know what, I want to give that a go. Like, that sounds like an interesting platform, and I started emulating on an old iMac G4 of all things, and just found, you know what, this is a really, really cool little system. So that's how I got into it. But it won't be for everyone, but I would, like I said, I'd recommend just getting a few of the ROMs maybe and giving it a go. I was just sharing with people, Will, there's actually a Turbografx Mini now that you can get. So
Yes, I've heard about that.
not that you have any nostalgia for this. I just saw Audiality's requested Wonder Boy. I'll go on to that one in a sec. I've literally just loaded this one, so I'll give it a quick go, and then we'll jump into a bit of New Adventure Island. That's the kind of definitive Wonder Boy game for the platform. Can't believe I haven't done that one yet, actually. Wow, this one's got long load times, or it's crashed, one of the two. I feel like that's crashed. Has that
I
crashed?
reckon that's a crash.
Yeah, we haven't had many crashes yet, but sometimes because I got all the CD images off the internet, it's been a bit, what's the right way to put it? It's been a bit hit and miss, because the CD images, I don't know if I sourced them from the best place. So
We can stream 3 hours.
3 hours, no way. That is crazy.
We start at 6, right?
Yes, we did. 3 hours.
It's
Well,
nearly 9.
maybe we should make this the final game.
I think we should make it a final game, yeah. We've been on for a long time.
Yeah, I
And my
didn't
wife
realise
says
that.
to me, you've been on for ages. I'm like, have we? Time flies when you're having fun, eh?
You do just
this
lose
one.
track.
You know, I played this. Some hack of this, and he was naked. He was running around naked.
Was that the
And,
SNES version by any chance? Super
It
Adventure
wasn't
Island.
SNES, I don't know what. This is some sort of hack of this game, but he was running around naked. I don't know, actually. It might have been the Super Nintendo. It looked different from this one. I think he had a little moustache. Is this Adventure Island?
This is, yeah, or New Adventure Island, as it's called. So it's brand new, this one. Brand new, Will. Brand new. As of
He's not running like that.
1992.
Naked. Was hearing the dialogue from the game.
Was hearing the dialogue from the game. What's that mean?
Clear.
I'm not quite sure there. Oh, maybe where I said, oh, I think it's crashed. Maybe it was playing some dialogue. Ah, takeaway. Oh,
You
man.
ordered takeaway food before your stream until you just arrived. That must be because of COVID, right? That must
Will.
be because, like, there's such high demand for food.
I just had a really funny idea. You know where sometimes people go, can we support you on Patreon? Can we help you? Maybe we should start saying, oh, well, if you want to help us, then order a takeaway for us on stream.
Yeah.
And then just see what food arrives. Can you imagine? Maybe when we're allowed to hang out in person, we should do that.
Your box address.
Yeah. I wonder how that works. Can you get, like, Deliveroo?
Someone's asked me how... Oh, Staircase asked me how long it takes to make my cardboard Sonic video.
About
I
10
did
years.
makings of that video, I think, and I can't remember how long it took. I think it took about 4 months, maybe 5. It took a while. This Doom 2 one I'm doing at the moment, I keep on plugging it. I shouldn't really do that, it's a bit cheesy. But this Doom 2 art is taking me nearly 8 months and it's still going. The longest one I've done
Dedication.
is this one at the moment, Doom 2. The other one I did that took the longest is Alien out of cardboard. which took about 7.5 months before I finished it. Maybe a little bit longer. Takeaways always take hours. I arrive here on weekends. It's because you're where else are you? Not Jersey. You are Guernsey, aren't you? On a little island where I don't know how many takeaway places there must be in Guernsey, but like a lot of people, not many takeaways. It must be real busy this climate. No one can be bothered to go out. What else is there to do apart from eat?
It's true. Yeah, it kind of becomes variety. Getting a takeaway or going to Sainsbury's or something, that becomes like an exciting part of life at the moment.
We're not allowed to go out. If I go to Sainsbury's, there's a possibility I could come back and I could die 2 weeks later. So just play safe and get a takeaway.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I might stop bothering to buy milk for my cereal. I might just start ordering takeaway every morning instead.
Yeah. Can I get some sweet and sour sauce and just pour it over your cornflakes?
Yeah. That's funny. Cool. Well, what I'll do, I'll get to the end of this stage and then we'll sort of end from there. I'll do a little bit of an outro, just re-give an overview of the system, and maybe Will, if you share with people, a bit more about the channel, then I think we're at a wrap, I think. So just to give you a bit of a recap on what we've been playing on tonight. It's been this system here, the tiny little one, the PC Engine. You can get them on eBay for about 70 quid or thereabouts. I'm using what's called the SSD free, which allows you to play CD and HuCard games on the original system. And I've got to say, the more I play it, the more I think this is a great little system. I'm really glad I got it. In terms of specs, this is what you were looking at. You can see, compared to Mega Drive and SNES, it's pretty similar, really. Will came out with a really good term from it earlier, which was that it was almost like 10 or 12-bit. So it's been really, really cool, and I've really enjoyed all the kind of different comments people have made throughout. So I've been Tom, or T-Dog. This has been Will. This is Will's channel, which I seem to have taken over in recent streams.
Well, Tom, you did a fantastic job playing games tonight. Really, really well done. Thank you very much for busting your ass and playing these games, which I would just fail at, and keeping everyone entertained. This channel is Games Made of Cardboard. I make games out of cardboard. If you enjoy what we do, subscribe. I know a lot of you have come over from my Sonic video, which was done quite well recently. So if you're expecting more Sonic stuff, there's potential I would probably do Sonic 2 in the future, but give me some time, man. This stuff takes a while. So that's it for now. We'll be doing another stream on Tuesday at around 7ish, potentially. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
So until then, take care, everybody. Oak City, Stormwave, Audio, Staircase, thank you very much for joining, and everyone else that's joined tonight. And we wish you all a very pleasant Saturday. Be safe, wear a mask, and watch out. Peace out.
Peace out.